Okay, so we join again in the lair of kobolds that you four have just dispatched. So to bring the other two up to speed, the party last session went to explore this road that the Baron had told them about and discovered a raiding party of kobolds had set up camp and were ambushing passing travellers and taking all their gear. So after a couple of fairly tough fights, they managed to clear out their den and are now free to examine the loot. So, Chaz, I know you asked earlier about whether there was a shield there. One of the dead kobold dragon shields, you could probably prize the shield off his arm. It wouldn't be the best quality. It's obviously very primitive, but it would stop a kind of a sword or whatever came to attack it, at least for a while. But amongst the rest of the loot, there's obviously all this kind of grain and village supplies that the Duke or the Baron's been saying he hasn't been getting. You also found the small little lockbox, which is quite ornate, which is probably what he was referring to with his kind of personal items that have gone missing. So you just decided to take a long rest, if I recall. So you slept there and had healed up. So the day is now dawning. So it's up to you.
I think it's a good idea to pack up all the stuff and get it back to the Lord ASAFP. That stands for as soon as freaking possible, if you didn't know. It's a known thing. I'm gonna confuse his alphabets if I keep this up.
I don't think he knows all of those letters that you just said to him.
Titan's going to get up. Stop his phone.
Sorry, I gotta take my pills again.
He's going to wake up, pray to his ancestors, ask that they protect him and thank them for looking after him in that crazy fight yesterday. And then he's going to ask if it's okay to take from the dead. He's going to ask his ancestors if it's okay.
So Titus, it's not really a two-way radio with your ancestors. With the kind of help of Rulin, you've been able to kind of channel your spirituality to a point where you can, in times of need, call upon them, but they're not at your beck and call. So you don't get any clear answer, but you don't kind of also get any rejection to the offer.
Okay. He stands up and he's gonna take one of the dragon shields.
Okay. So as you kind of wrestle this off the kobold's arm, you realise that it was made for a creature a bit smaller than you, so it's more like a buckler for you.
Okay.
It's not enough to cover your full length, but used properly, it can definitely parry some blows.
Okay. He's going to put it on his back then, for now.
Okay. Sure. So the grain in that is still largely in its bags and crates that they came in. You reckon that with the aid of Titus's kind of colossal strength, it'll only probably take a couple of trips to load all this onto your cart before you could start getting underway.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else to keep us around, I suggest we get cart loaded up, and we'll get back to the Baron. Any objections?
No.
it might be worth investigating this cave a little more. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the kobolds really have a much use for all these trinkets, knickknacks, and whatnot. I can understand the grain, but all these things doesn't add up for me. Could I roll a investigate? Or
Yes, yeah, you could.
awesome. That would be a 13.
Okay, so as you look around, you realise that, kind of true to your intuition, the grain is what's largely been kind of opened and used. You can see though that there are like a few kind of broken scraps of wood lying in the corner, and they look like they might have been tools at some point. And on examining some of the bodies of the kobolds, you realise that the kind of the metal parts of these tools had been kind of ripped off and fashioned into crude weapons. But as far as the trinkets go, like there aren't really many fancy trinkets in what they've managed to steal. It's just there haven't been that many shipments through this to this little village that would be of that nature. It's a very kind of utilitarian haul.
Yeah, just mostly the box as well. How big was the box that
The little lockbox.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge box. It's probably about 40 centimeters width and 20 centimeters from front to back, and about another 20 tall. So it's quite long. You suspect it might have some form of paperwork inside due to the shape of it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of quite firmly locked. Although there are a few kind of marks around it where like these kobolds have probably tried to pry it open or something, but it's not really been within their skill to do.
Okay. Do you reckon it'd be worth trying to pry this puppy open on the way back, or do you think that's being a bit sneaky?
I don't think the possessions of the Baron are what concern us. We just need to return them.
Yes, I suppose that's what's written in the contract, isn't it? Though, don't you protest a certain curiosity to it all?
To a point, but the whole point of this expedition is to mend the any tension between the Order and the Kingdom. I wouldn't want to ruin that by sticking our nose where it doesn't belong.
Yes. Yeah, yes, you're right in the end. I suppose there are larger things at play than knowing what's in this box. All right, shall we lead the way then? I think I've satisfied my curiosity for now.
Okay.
Tyler
Sure.
grabs 2 big bags of the grain, puts them on his arms.
Yeah, these grain sacks, like to you, Titus, they don't really slow you down much at all. I mean, they're not small bags either. They could probably go quite some way towards feeding a village of the size of Acom quite well for quite a while. But your strength kind of means that it's not an issue. So you guys do a few trips and ferry some of this material. Everything the kobolds haven't kind of ruined beyond salvaging, and you get them on the carts. The peasant that you saved earlier he stayed there, and he was too scared to return through the woods on his own, so he was kind of hunkering down in the cart. He was quite relieved to see you when you arrived. Because I was wondering where you'd got to. I thought you might return, so I hunkered down here overnight. But are we returning to the village anytime soon?
Yes, we'll finish loading up the cart and then we'll be on our way.
Oh, good. I tell you what, I've had enough of these woods to last me for a while.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Would you happen to be one of the drivers? We don't have anyone qualified in the party. It's kind of an improvised driving on the way here.
Yes. I know how to drive one of these carts. Don't you worry.
Oh, perfect.
So with that, he kind of hops up into the driver's seat, and he kind of grabs reins and whispers something to donkeys. It seems to calm them a little bit, and he makes ready. He kind of turns to you. Well, shall we get to it? I don't really want to stay out here longer than I have to.
Yendor
Certainly.
climbs in the back, just ready to go.
Roland jumps up, crossbow, and hops onto the passenger seat.
I wanted to ride crossbow. Sit on the back of the cart, looking backward.
Type, do you even
Titus
possess
is
a
going to
crossbow?
walk behind the cart.
Did we bring any spare horses? I can't remember.
You came with that cart, remember, which had some. Well, they weren't horses; they were donkeys.
Right.
You left your own horses back in Acom.
Okay.
So you guys, it's not a very fast cart, especially now that it's got all this extra weight on. So Titus, you're able to kind of keep pace with it at quite a leisurely stroll. You guys, you make it back to the village in good time. It's probably about 2 p.m. by the time you arrive. And as you kind of pull into town, you see that Triss and Havel are waiting for you in the village centre. So whilst
Iron Tooth.
Titus, took its time.
It's good to see you.
So whilst these four have been out scouring the woods, you two have basically stayed to keep an eye on the village and maybe see if it was kind of a standalone problem they were having, or if the village had been harassed by anything else. But you've noticed that it's actually, for a quite an isolated village, it's quite peaceful. There weren't any issues while you were away. Everybody was able to just get on with their work in the fields, and seemed like they didn't really give much thought to it at all.
Is it suspiciously peaceful? Like there's something else
It's-
going on?
It would definitely be at odds with what you'd heard about country life.
Mhm.
From my time in my youth, we definitely had a few more encounters than since I was been here. Does feel like something's going on here, guys. Not sure what yet, though.
But as you guys help these four start unloading the cart, the Baron walks out the front of his property. Ah, good. I see that you've been successful, at least partially. Tell me, what was the cause of our ills?
Titus takes the little buckler off his back and throws it down in front of him. Little
Kobold.
sly, sneaky chickens.
Really sort of like glances at Titus and just explains further. Kobolds were setting up an ambush along the road. Looks like they've, from the looks of their hideout, they've made off with a fair amount of your village's goods over the last few weeks or months. We managed to rescue one of your villagers, but he was the only one, unfortunately. It's not clear exactly what may have happened to the rest of your people.
The Baron kind of nods solemnly at that. Well, you've saved one, and that's certainly better than the alternative. I'm glad to hear that you've solved this problem for us. If I'm honest with you, we'd been starting to get a bit worried about our situation, but it seems that you've even gone through the trouble of bringing our lost supplies with you.
Speaking of that as well, Rulin reaches into the back of the cart and lifts out the little lockbox and walks up to the Baron. I believe you did mention there was something of importance that was on its way. Perhaps this is what you were looking for? And offers him the box.
He sees you pull the box out and he goes, "Ah, excellent! That's exactly what I was looking for. Here, please." He kind of reaches out his hands for it.
Rulin sort of hands it over to him and says, "So, forgive my impertinence, but what exactly would it be that's so valuable in such a small little box?"
Oh, well, most of it is paperwork. I've got a fair few responsibilities as a Baron, so I need to fully document my tithes for the year. You can imagine how the king likes it if my shipments don't get through or aren't properly documented. But at this point, he's kind of like fiddling in his pocket, and he pulls out a key, which he slips into the lock and opens. But there's also a little trinket of mine, and he kind of pulls out this amulet from it. It's only a copper kind of locket. It's quite beat up. It doesn't really look like much. So, you see, this locket of mine, it's been in the family for quite some time. It's a lot of sentimental value in it, and he kind of slips it over his head. I can't thank you enough for bringing it to me. I thought I'd lost it. Now, I'm guessing you'll have had a contract from the king, and you'll want me to put my seal to it.
Who was holding that again? Was that me?
I think it was, yeah.
Yes, yeah, Torek, because you were the one who was kind of giving it the once over.
Yes, I suppose I was. So yes, I'll approach and unfurl the paper for him.
Yes, that's the one. Come, my seal is in my study. I'll
While this is going on, could Triss cast detect magic? She's being nosy. She kind of wants to know what's going on with the lockbox and situation.
Ooh.
Yes, very good.
And the locket as well.
Okay, so as you kind of cast detect magic on the lockbox, you don't get any positive kind of hits on your detect magic. Now, roll me a perception check, please.
Okay. Ooh. Oh.
Wow.
So as you
as well.
as you go to cast detect magic on this locket, you can see that as you cast it, the Baron is making ever so almost imperceptible hand gestures, and you can see his mouth moving ever so slightly, and you don't detect any magic.
Okay.
And he kind of fixes you with a fairly stern but curious glance.
Cool.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Oh, dodgy.
But he turns away despite this, kind of keeping a bit of a poker face. He doesn't confront you about it, and he leads Torek into the mansion to get his wax seal stamped onto this contract. So as he leads you upstairs, Torek, he opens the door into this study, the same one that Triss was snooping around a few nights ago. And he kind of pulls out a large wax stamp, the kind to make official documents with, and he lights a stick of red wax on a candle and starts dripping it onto the paper. So I must say, it's been a while since I've seen hunters in this part of the world. Been a while since anyone's had to really fill out a contract like this. What brings you back?
What brings us back? Well, it was ultimately we're here to build good relations, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'd probably say something along the lines of, well, we were responding to your call for aid, naturally. And we hunters, we like to respond to people in need. And these monsters, the monsters of these worlds, are very harsh and have a bad tendency to mess with the life of ordinary people. I don't like that.
Yes, I know that more acutely than most. And he puts the stamp down and kind of pulls it back, and you can see that his crest is now kind of drying in the wax. He blows on it
What's
to
the
cool
crest?
it. So his crest, it's a kind of a shield with kind of chevrons going up the left-hand side, and then a kind of a cross with a semicircle over the top right quadrant on the right-hand side. I'll try and draw something in paint and put it in the Discord later to get that across. But yeah, it's a reasonably it's not too flamboyant. But he kind of shakes it a little bit to help it cool it, and then he hands it back to Tarek. As a little extra from me for bringing me back so much stuff here. He pulls out a little kind of ceramic pot. It's not very big. Probably the size of your average kind of mug that you'd use to put meat in. Now this we found in the field once when we were first here clearing it. I hadn't really found much use for it, but I don't face the same kind of problems you do. Here, and he hands it over to you, Torek. And looking into it, you can see that appears to be a fairly viscous kind of green sludge in the bottom of it.
Oh. Cool. It was found in a field, right?
Yes, we don't know where it originally came from, but well, all we know is that don't put anything valuable in that pot, value.
Is it acid, perhaps? I put a shred of paper. I tear off a shred of paper and just drop it in.
So as the little bit of paper is falling down into the pot, the kind of goo almost seems to rise to meet it, and you can see that the paper starts to kind of almost dissolve in it.
Ooh. It rose to meet it. Oh no. Are you sentient, little acid?
It doesn't seem to respond to your question.
Thank you. I love him.
Like, yep. Don't forget this. And he kind of hands you a stopper to it. Yes, that would be bad.
Yeah, yes, indeed. I put the stopper over the urn, and he handed me pay as well, didn't he? I'll take that. And
no, he hasn't handed you pay. The terms of your contracts, if you can remember, are once you've returned this kind of written contract to the king with the seal of the baron, then you would be kind of.
Yes, it's the king doing
but
the payment.
The pay goes to the order, not to us as well.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And then we get our percentage.
But yeah, he kind of with that. So now I don't want to seem rude, but I must get back to running my village. I've got a lot of work to do. We're getting ever so close to harvest, and there are preparations to be made.
Indeed, you return to your people.
So he nods and he kind of leaves the house. He waves to the rest of you as he goes by, and he heads off towards where the peasants are hard at work in the fields.
That just dumbly waves back.
Well then, looks like our work here is done. What time of day is it at the moment?
So by now it's probably about 3 o'clock. It hasn't been all too long since you got back. Didn't take long to unload wagons because you just had to get it off.
I just want to collect gold. Titus is no slave no more.
Yes, well, with if we don't have any other pressing concerns, we could start making tracks towards Bayford.
Yeah. Did it take about a day to
Agreed.
travel, right?
Yeah, it was about a day's travel, but
We could camp on the way.
yeah, it's definitely doable. You've camped in the wilderness before.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any issue.
Okay. So you guys kind of return to where you left your horses and mount up. Villagers kind of wave to you as you ride out past them through the fields.
Titus wants to say goodbye to the cows.
Sure. So Titus kind of like you draw up, you pull your horse up to the edge of a pen. The cows kind of trot over. They kind of remember you from before. So you have like a bit of a moment with them, kind of patting and giving them a few kind of head scratches. The others are kind of drawing a bit further away when Rulin kind of turns to check on you and sees you kind of having your little moment with the cows.
Titus, say your goodbyes. We'll be on our way.
Goodbye, big piggies.
So
then he follows on.
Sure. So you guys, you make some good headway to the city of Bayford. You're traveling on the already established road. The terrain is quite easy going. You make most of the way there, but it starts to get a little bit late, and the darkness starts to encroach a little bit. It does get dark quite quickly in these woods. There's not much in the way of light pollution at all anywhere outside of these cities. But you find somewhere suitable to set up camp. Looks like it'd be reasonably defensible.
Okay.
Yes. Should we do the usual preparations for setting up?
Yeah. So you guys will have obviously been taught in the way of the order. So run me through your kind of standard way of setting a camp when you're out in the wilderness.
Titus goes and cuts down a tree. Sorry, Tris.
No, it's cool. Triss would use prestidigitation and light a little campfire for us, I think. Probably with the help of Titus's tree.
Rulin will volunteer to take first watch. He doesn't need a lot of sleep anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yeah, that's a good point because you're obviously only needing your 4 hours. It gives it makes the sentry duties that much more tolerable for everybody else because their subsequent watches are quite short.
Yeah,
and it gives you a bit of solitude and time to meditate and reflect on.
Plus, I think even when elves do sleep, it's still only like it's more of a trance, so you're still semi-conscious anyway. So,
yes, it's a useful ability to have when you're traveling in the wilderness.
Yeah.
So yeah, you take the first shift. So you set yourself up while the others are getting ready to hit the hay.
Okay.
So Titus, you've cut down a tree, and Triss is setting up the campfire. However, as a ranger, what would be your kind of primary objectives for a campsite? What would you think?
So, at the moment, are there any animals in the area that we can see?
You can kind of hear the nighttime life in the forest starting to kind of awaken and go about their lives. So you can hear the hooting of an owl from a reasonable distance away and flap of wings. But you can't hear anything big or potentially dangerous at the moment.
Because I had an idea of if there was something close enough that I could see, perhaps casting animal friendship on something like an owl that could kind of keep watch in an area that I could see.
Nice owl impression.
Oh,
yeah. So as you kind of sit and wait, it doesn't take long for you to kind of see something fly overhead. So if you wanted to cast animal friendship on that and kind of get it to keep an eye out, that can definitely be a worthwhile endeavour.
I feel like that's something I definitely want to do. Cast animal friendship on whatever the fuck's flying over.
Sure. So as you kind of sit and wait, you realise that it is in fact a tawny owl.
aw.
So kind of famed for their keen eyesight, you realise that this is probably a very suitable beast to task with being a sentry.
Excellent. So,
That's sick.
I'm wondering how many things can you cast in a row? Like,
So that for you is one of your first level spell slots. You get 3 of them.
because they'll be regenerated when we rest, won't they? Although
They will, yes.
Oh well, if he's my friend, I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Ah, cool.
Sure thing. So the owl is kind of perched in the top of one of these trees where you cast this. So he kind of turns to you like almost expectantly.
Like, hey, Huda, come here. I've got an important job for you tonight.
It kind of it spreads its wings and swoops down and kind of lands on your forearm.
Right. So, while we're all sleeping, all I need you to do is just keep an eye out in the distance for us. Tell all your owl friends if anything heads towards us, let us know.
It kind of looks at you and blinks slowly. You can see though that it has understood you, and before long it spreads its wings and takes to the air. You can hear it hooting, and there are a few other hoots in the distance. So it seems that it's you've managed to get your message across to it.
That's a sentry for the camp, gentlemen. Lady, I guess.
Yeah, Rulin nods to Havel appreciatively.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I might as well help set up tents. And
Sure.
I'll be done after that. I'll just help set people's tents up.
Sure. So, Torek, talk to me. What are you thinking you're going to be spending your evening doing?
Torek, I think, is going to, after the tree is cut down and the fire is lit, Torek's going to set up a small teapot over the fire and offer everyone tea amongst their duties before casting alarm over his bed sheet, set to a mental alarm, and basically just chilling out. He's going to treat it more domestically. You know, he's going to be sat there reading his book.
Okay, cool.
Oh, he's going to be reading?
Yeah.
Titus is going to come over and sort of look over your shoulder and just try to figure out. The fact that stories can come out of fixed things is beyond him.
Yeah, I mean, this is remarkable. I mean, this is like the recording of knowledge without the use of tattoos. So this is something you're not really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Goliaths, those who kind of perform a great deed, kind of immortalize it by having the events kind of inked onto their very skin, so that all they meet know of their glory. So the fact that these little tiny books the fact these tiny little books with all these flimsy little leaves of paper can contain such wonders is something quite alien to you.
Dude, that makes Titus wouldn't be aware of this, but that makes the fact that he's been branded as a slave on his skin, that's really sad, actually. Jesus.
I think as Titus comes to glaze over my shoulder, blocking the setting sun. Oh, Titus, can I help you?
Yes.
What can I do? Do you want some tea?
Can you tell me this story?
It's not really a story as such. It's knowledge. It's all the information that a gnome who lived long ago recorded in this book. Look here, and I show him the spine of the book. That's his name. Look.
Titus, roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Intelligence saving throw. You got. That is a 6.
You realize that Titus, you realize that Torek now is kind of pointing to the little squiggly things. Like you get that much, but they mean nothing to you.
This tattoo is his name?
Yes, think of it like a tattoo on a dead tree. Yes. Whatever you get your head around the concept. Yes, that's his name. You probably can't read it. It's in Gnomish. It says Korani. Korani. See?
Korani.
Yes, that's the name of the gnome who wrote this book, who found all this information for me to read after he's dead.
How does he tell story if he is dead?
Well, I think I'll save that for our next little lesson, Titus.
Okay.
Titus, you're kind of clearly still pondering this kind of really quite incredible gnome whose tattoos last long after his mortal body has perished.
He's a powerful warrior.
He must have many women.
Yes.
No.
But yeah, Tarek, yeah, you kind of see Titus kind of going away. You realise you probably haven't taught him that much more tonight.
It's okay. It's a learning process.
Okay, so Rulin is taking the first watch. So everybody, take a long rest for me, please. However, Triss, as you're sleeping, you kind of open your eyes and find yourself kind of engulfed in almost unnatural darkness.
Mm-hmm.
You realise that you're dreaming.
Oh, okay.
You kind of stumble around for a few moments in this blackness. You can barely make out your own hand in front of your face. But as you're doing this, you kind of turn 180 degrees and you see this large eye appear in the darkness.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's staring right at you. After a few seconds, a second eye opens, followed by a third, and a fourth. And as this kind of continues, more and more eyes are starting to appear. You kind of filled with this kind of this deep-rooted dread in the pit of your stomach. You wake up screaming, the campsite around you, kind of cold sweat breaking out.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's there. Rulin is still sitting on guard. It's just him, the forest, and the kind of the natural world around you. But roll me a nature check, please.
A nature check. Let me see. Ooh, I'm in the wrong place. Where am I at? Here we go. So 15.
Wow.
As you wake up and look around, to your surprise, you realise that the constellations in the night sky are a perfect match for the positions these eyes opened up in your dream.
Ooh. That is creepy. Yee.
Oh, that's weird.
Rulin, you kind of hear Triss kind of wake up with a scream, and it kind of snaps you out of your meditation.
Okay.
I
So,
think
yeah.
Triss's first action would also be to detect magic again. See whether there's anything actually happening around her as well.
Sure.
A little
So
funky.
you cast Detect Magic. There's no magic at work here.
Okay.
So Rulin kind of like jumps up to his feet and kind of half draws his sword and looks at Triss. What's wrong?
Weird dream. Weird dream. Have you seen anything odd going on?
Rulin, there would have been nothing out of the ordinary whilst you've been on watch. It's a reasonably quiet night. You haven't even heard much in the way of wildlife other than the owls circling overhead.
No, everything's quiet. The owls are still keeping watch.
Gotta stop reading weird books before bed, I guess. Thanks, Rulin. Let me know if anything strange happens. Oh.
Of course. Rulin's a little bit suspicious. People don't tend to wake up screaming for no reason, just a weird dream, but sort of sheathes his sword and goes back to his watch.
Sure. So, Triss, you kind of lay your head back down. It takes you a while to get back to sleep, but you drift off and you don't have any further dreams or nightmares. So, Rulin, as you keep on your watch, nothing kind of alerts you to anything. The owls are quiet. It gets to the point where you need to take your own 4 hours. So, are you going to wake up anyone to replace you on sentry?
I'll wake up good old Havel. He can keep his owls company.
Sure. So, Havel, you wake up and the owls that you've set to guard for camp, you can see they're still flying around. None of them have started to make any noise or anything that would suggest something untoward is happening.
Good boys. So, if I'm watching the camp, Havel will he'll sit outside of the light of the fire. He will want to stay kind of concealed a bit. So he won't want to be right. Kind of want to be a little bit out of the way, just in case anything does appear. It won't immediately be noticeable.
Okay. Sure. So you take over the watch, somewhat apart from the group. But the night passes quietly. The sun starts to rise, and you can see that your companions are starting to stir. So everybody, you wake up with the sun. The day is starting. You're not far now from Bayford. It won't take you too long to complete your journey. Okay, so
Okay, so we'll
I guess, and yeah, it'll be a case of packing up. You guys have done this a lot. You have a bit of practice in setting up and dismantling camps in a hurry. So you're on the road again within the hour.
While they're on the way, Rulin turns to Triss and said, "So, what was your dream about?"
There was some weird eyes. They were in the same position as where the stars were last night, and they were so big. I don't know. There was just something about them that wasn't quite right. It was weird.
You've told us a little bit about your magic and how it works. Is there anything that would relate to your powers somehow, maybe?
I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I found this book and all the rest of it and got myself some powers from there. But for the most part, I don't really know where it comes from. It's just kind of handy to me. Might just be that I've escaped notice until now.
Could be worth you looking into it a little deeper. So these sorts of things. Well, it could be nothing, but it could be something.
I guess I better be careful, though. Seems like I'm being watched.
Well, there was nothing out there in the forest, but yeah, certainly I don't know how these magical types of things really work.
Seems like I don't either.
Ooh, very cool. Okay, so as this is happening, you guys are kind of trotting on the road, and it's starting to get a little bit less densely forested. And within the next 15 minutes, you're actually kind of within sight of the city. Kind of a few tentative farms that are just around the outskirts of the city walls. So as you approach the city gates, you kind of remember seeing the sigils and everything carved into the stone. For they're all still there. The city is just as busy as you remember. Clearly, that the majority of the world's populations obviously live in these cities. They're becoming quite overcrowded. But you're able to, being on horseback, push your way through these crowds reasonably easily. So you need to decide where you would like to go in the city.
Are we going back to the tavern?
Yes, if we are searching for Harok, then perhaps the Broken Plough Inn would be the best place to start.
Best check in with the old man first.
We can, yeah, certainly. Why not?
Sure. So you make your way there. Again, it's not too bad getting your way through the crowd on horseback. As you enter the Broken Inn, you can see that Croc is sat at the table you've all previously been sat at, kind of really just examining something. As he sees you guys enter, he quickly puts it into a bag and kind of hides it under his cloak. He gestures for you to come and join him. Ah, back so soon?
Well, you
kill
just say.
those sneaky chickens.
Sneaky chickens. Somebody want to explain what the Glurf's talking about?
Well, sneaky kobolds would be a more accurate description.
Kobolds.
Nasty
Yeah.
fucking fiends.
Nah, I would explain the ambushes. They're quite cowardly little things, but when they think they've got the advantage. But still, you're all here, so I'm guessing it went without too many problems.
Yep, we did as the Baron asked. Returned him some of his stolen goods, and he was most pleased with us. I'm sure he'll be putting in a good word with the king for us.
Good, glad to hear it. That's exactly what we need at the moment.
And we have his signature or his seal.
Perfect. Well, we can hand that in, get our reward, and get out of this damn city. So with that, he stands and he kind of makes his way out. He's heading in the direction of the palace again. He clearly wants to cash in this contract. So he's going at a reasonable pace. He's kind of pushing people out of the way. You are able to keep up with him, kind of following in his wake.
Does he seem like he's in more of a rush than he was before? Like,
Roll me an insight.
Okay. Uh, 21.
He's clearly got something on his mind. You can tell. He wants to be wherever he's going quite quickly.
Okay. So, Rock, what have you been up to in the city over the last couple of days?
Well, I've been calling in on a few old contacts of mine, people I knew before we weren't welcome in these parts.
Yes.
Few of them are dead. Few of them aren't. But I've managed to find a few things out. Things that I need to solve. And we're not going to do that here, so I want to be on my way back to Care Enlin by day's end.
Of course. Anything of particular note?
At this point, I don't know. It might be.
Ooh.
Something you're concerned about?
Something I'm unsure about, and I don't like being unsure. Call it years of being in this line of work.
Okay. So really gets the sense he doesn't really want to talk about it right now, so he stops questioning.
Sure. So you guys end up kind of at the palace gates, and this time Rock doesn't stand on ceremony. He kind of just pushes the door in, doesn't even bother stopping to greet the vizier who awaits, and he marches towards the throne room with you in tow. He barges in. The king is busy dealing with something. There's somebody there who's clearly come for an audience. You can see the king is quite shocked by this, and he turns. Rock, I didn't expect this from you. Why are you entering my chambers without summoning? I know we go back, but there's protocol to follow. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I've got pressing things to deal with, and if you don't mind, I'd like to be on my way. Nothing personal, just I need this to be done. The tone of his voice seems to kind of alert the king to something not quite being right. Whatever's the matter, Rock? You're not one to get startled easily. No, I'm not. So I hope you won't mind me asking you to speed this along. Look, Your Highness, I'm not trying to be rude, but us hunters, we've got things to worry about outside of all your royal etiquette. So don't see this personally. Just my nature. This kind of sells the king a little bit. He's still clearly not too happy with Rock, kind of barging in front of his subjects and talking to him in quite a frank manner. He probably knows that this is probably going to get kind of talked about in court. There are going to be rumours and gossip and all the other kind of stuff that comes with royal life. But he nods. Very well then. I suppose you have a contract. He kind of looks expectantly.
Tarek, the contract. Tarek's having a seizure.
Tarek, are you daydreaming again?
Sorry, I had my mic muted. The parents were being loud. Yeah, I present the contract, and yeah.
So Gustav examines the contract. He clearly recognises the seal. Ah, good. Well, I'm glad you've managed to sort Von Weiler's problems out. He's a good friend of mine. He was due to be married to Anastasia before the accident.
Oh, really?
But anything I can do for him is a benefit. He's been a staunch supporter of mine all these years. Here, and he kind of pulls out a coin purse and tosses it to Harok. There you go, as promised. It's all there. I don't doubt it, Your Majesty. Now, if you'll excuse me, we'll take our leave. And he kind of gives a mock bow at this point. He's obviously trying to just play the game a little bit.
Yeah, and Dawn takes the hint this time and bows.
Rulin follows suit.
Sure. And Gustav kind of nods in response to this before kind of turning back to his previous appointment. Now, as Rock is walking out, he starts divvying up gold. He's like, now, as I said, the guild needs a coin, but I won't deny you've earned this, so I'll stay true to my word and let you keep half of it. So everybody add 30 gold pieces to your inventory.
Ooh.
Yes.
Nice.
So, as a bit of an aside, while you're adding all this, the guild tends to work under the assumption that every hunter contributes a certain amount of gold from whatever contracts they're doing into a kind of communal coffer, which is kind of the responsibility of a treasurer. However, should a hunter need funds for a hunt for whatever reason, any member, as long as they're a full brother or sister of the order, can make a case to the council for why they need the money, and if found to be a valid cause, can be given a grant to help buy equipment or supplies or whatever from this communal pot.
That's cool. So, do we have to contribute from that 30 gold?
No, so that 30 is taken into account already. That you've so Hirok has kept half of the money for the pot, and the other half you've earned. He's letting you keep.
Cool.
Now,
That's awesome.
on top of this, I'm glad to announce that we can get you fully initiated into the order. You've done everything I've asked for you to prove yourselves. So once we're back at Carenwyn, we'll have a feast and we'll get you your robes. But first we've got to get there. So come with me. Let's get saddled up and put this city behind us.
Okay.
Damn, he's keen.
So he makes as expeditious a path back to the tavern as he did to the palace. He heads right back out to the stables, and you see him kind of climb up onto his horse, kind of a greyish mare, and he waits for you guys to mount up behind him. I'm sorry we don't have much time for shopping in the city. I know that it's not often you get a chance to be here, but I think with all that's going on, I'd rather just be home.
Sure, we understand.
Titus looks at his coins and looks at the tavern and looks at his coins and looks at the tavern and then slowly, sadly, sort of follows along.
The Rock kind of sees you glancing at your coin purse. Go on, Titus. You can have one for the road if you really want.
Whoa! Rushes inside.
I'd love Titus, he thinks he's going to buy a beer, but Titus just to come out with some chicken wings or something.
Well, we've already established the broken pile does not serve meats.
Yeah, no. Titus comes out. He spends how much would it be for an ale?
For an ale, just a mug of ale, it costs you about a silver.
A silver, cool. Thank you.
So Titus kind of comes out of the tavern, ale in hand. Rock kind of smiles, kind of looks down and just shakes his head. He knows it's kind of almost pointless trying to thoroughly outlaw Titus's urges. So now and again, it's just okay to indulge him just for the sake of keeping him on the good side. But he spurs his mare on and leads you guys out of the city. So you can tell that he's riding quite hard, riding in a southwesterly direction. He is leading you back to the Order's headquarters of Carenwyn. So it's a two-day trip from Bayford. It's and that's on horseback. So you guys, you make a lot of progress on this first day. Hrok's setting quite a punishing pace. The roads very quickly become little more than dirt tracks through this forest. This far out, from the city, very few people venture. In fact, Havel, you've probably seen beast paths that are more well traversed than this road. But despite that, you guys make fairly good progress. Your horses are quite used to this. They're not worried by the terrain too much. But the darkness starts closing in, and Rock kind of raises his hand and slows down to a halt in a little clearing. Well, we're not there yet, but we're doing well. Let's rest up here for the night. We'll carry on our way in the morning. Now, let's see about getting this camp set up.
Okay.
So Rock kind of starts unrolling a bedroll. He kind of lays it out and then starts going into the woods looking for some kindling.
Triss goes and helps him for kindling the fire. Kind of same procedure as the previous night, I think. Except this time I think she probably motions to Roland and says, I'll take first watch tonight.
Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't take you guys long. Obviously, the benefit of being in thick forest is there's an ample supply of firewood. So the rest of you, it doesn't take you too long to get out your tents, get them set up. Once the firewood's back assembled, the campfire is lit. You can see that Rock has kind of sat himself on, still in his armor. He's kind of wearing his plate, and he doesn't seem to be intent on taking it off. It's something you've seen before, though. One of his quirks. He's quite attached to it. It's almost as if he feels almost naked without it. But when you've spent so long in such a dangerous career, you develop such quirks. But he's clearly sat thinking about something, staring into the fire. Okay, so everybody's evening routines. Are we having a similar kind of camp session?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think so. I think it's one of those things where, as a party, we'd probably just swing into like very similar motions with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys, you've obviously known each other for a year now, so you've kind of got used to the routine a little bit. People clearly have their roles, like Triss is clearly the one who goes and scavenges for firewood.
Yeah, Don sort of sets his tent up kind of as much in the middle of the group as possible. So if there's any assistance that needs to be given, then he's not like too far from anybody, and he's also not the first person. If anyone were to approach the camp, he won't be the first person that would be attacked.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So yeah, the fire is going quite. The tents are set up. You're a bit deeper in the woods now than you previously were. The kind of the comforting light of the fire, as warm as the glow is, starts casting quite long shadows in the trees. But it's, you've done this before, where it might scare somebody who's only just kind of encountered the wild. You're at least somewhat prepared to spend the night out here. But Hawk eventually kind of looks up. Well, as much as I have pushed you guys lately, I'm glad to see that you've held up. It's been a long time since we've had a rite of passage and not had somebody killed. I must say it's refreshing.
Well, it was perilous, but we did pull through in the end.
Titus looks at the fire And he's like, Titus was burned by the sneaky chickens.
Oh no.
It's a dangerous lifestyle, boys. I won't sugarcoat it. But it's not without its reward. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get my head down. I'm not as young as I used to be. And he kind of lies down of his sleeping mat. He's just clearly intent to sleep in this plate. I mean, this is what 40 years of watching your ass looks like. So he kind of drifts away quite quickly. Despite being encased in steel, he's clearly used to it, and it doesn't seem to bother him too much.
Poor guy.
Oh. Yendorn, can I borrow a hair?
Why ever would you need one of my hairs?
Why else? An experiment, of course. Come on.
It won't be harmful to me, will it?
No, not if you hold still. I yank out a hair out of his head.
Ow! I thought you said no.
Sorry, I can't predict the future. I stick it in a flask and start shaking it with my potion.
So this flask starts to give off a fairly vigorous kind of stream of fairly noxious fumes. But it bubbles away, and see that the reaction is clearly happening.
Yes, excellent. I'm about to make it up to you and drink it.
Sure. So you drink this potion, and you start to feel your extremities go a bit numb, and a bit tingly, and then all of a sudden your left arm starts to grow to almost twice its size.
Oh, I stayed the same size as I am. If you look at the description of the spell, I'd just be a mini version of him.
Oh, okay. I thought you changed size. Okay, never mind. Yendorn, you watch in horror as Torek kind of starts to see his features twist. He kind of starts rocking backwards and forwards, kind of grasping his head. But as you go to comfort him, you kind of pull his hands away and find yourself staring into your own visage.
Oh, hello. I'm Yendorn.
It's like this is like a spitting image of yourself. Just 3 foot tall.
Is this a routine entertainment that we often have when we're camping? Like,
this is one of Torek's quirks. I mean, you've known him for a year. You know he gets up to all these harebrained experiments. So, I mean, it might not have been something you've seen before, but it wouldn't be something that would, like, shock you too much.
Oh, I see. Isn't this amusing, everyone? Oh, yes, I don't laugh very much. You see, I start laughing to see what Yendorn's laugh would sound like.
Well, I'm sorry, Rich. It's going to have every time Yendorn laughs. That's it from now.
I'm sorry.
Torek, your experiments are most random, I must say.
Yes, I just perform whatever I am inspired to do, and and I was very much inspired by you this time. So yes, congratulations, and I must say good night and blessings of God or whatever.
Are you able to heal me while you are like that? That would be most fantastic.
No, I do know. I still know how to make potions and whatnot. I just sound and look like you. I think it's rather amusing.
So Titus, you kind of stumble onto this without having seen Torek drink this potion, and are obviously quite.
It is little gremlin! Titus will defend the camp! And starts moving towards the miniature Yendon.
Oh my!
Titus, no, it is not an invader. Do not worry.
Do not worry, Titus. It is me, Yendorn.
But it...
Guy, roll me a deception. Have advantage because
Which one is real Yendorn?
have advantage because you're disguised as him.
I'm gonna roll.
I mean, to be fair, that'll
18.
this could be hard to beat.
Not 17 total.
17. Okay. Titus, you don't know what this imposter has done, but he has clearly shrunk Yendor, taken his form.
It is cursed.
So
The
this
little gremlin has stolen your face.
no, the way you interpret it, real Yendor cursed and shrunk into a miniature size, and this imposter is the full version.
Oh, the big one is fake. Okay, I
Yes.
grab real
It is
Yendor.
clear that the larger Yendorn is an
What did
imposter.
you do to my friend? gremlin?
I am your friend. I fixed your tooth, remember? That was me.
It is a... Wait. You are fixed tooth.
Yes, it is our
No.
fixed tooth.
You see, because only Yendor would know that, and Titus would know that. Who is...
I like to think that there's like a 3-second pause for the cogs to turn.
Chaz, roll me an intelligence saving throw, please.
Why is this the only save? I have fucking... Listen, I have +6 strength save, +6 constitution save, and +2 dex with advantage, but no, it's the fucking intelligence checks that we're getting. Oh great, that's a 10.
That's a 10. I mean, like, you know, the cogs are turning, but no conclusion is being drawn here.
Oh, Titus! Oh, poor Titus.
This is... Oh...
Torek, I believe you are confusing him greatly. It might be worth dropping the disguise if that's an option.
Okay. All right then. I mean, and I just take a small flask out of my like pouch and just drink it. You take back, and I just transform back and go. It's funny how rum undoes the spell. Need to work on that. Indeed. Hello, Titus. How are you doing?
Titus is not... This is not a joke to Titus. This is a great... He's been cheated. He has been lied to. He looks at Tarek. From now on, we'll call you Lie Tooth.
I don't know how my character would respond. He'd just be like, "What?"
So unsure how to kind of deal with Titus's dental fixation.
Oh, so as a background, Titus came from a tribe that were known as the White Tooths, not White Teeth, White Tooths, and yeah, it's all based on like tooth and fangs and tusks. And...
Is that why you joined the order?
I see. So you kind of call people teeth. Maybe does that mean you'd call a team a mouth?
We'll get to it. The great
Ooh,
one day
so much,
they call
deep backstory.
they call tribes great moors.
Ah, that's cool. I like that.
Ooh, a molar, indeed.
Well, it takes many different kinds of teeth, right?
You need to have a molar to know the way.
And as a result of this, the phrase "never look a gift horse in the mouth" is deeply offensive to the tribe. But so Titus, like, things start to click now that Tarek is back in his true form.
I'm just very betrayed.
Okay.
While everyone's settling down, I think Triss would probably grab Harvel and see whether he's got an animal tonight, keeping watch over the camp. Just if she's on first watch, I think she likes to know if there's anything else, keeping an eye out as well.
So, Havel, you notice that the forest is eerily quiet.
Okay, what Havel might do is not too far from the camp. He doesn't want to get secluded entirely. Maybe just wander, a little bit further in the forest, just see if he can see or hear any kind of animal nearby. Not necessarily a flying animal.
So you wander a bit from the camp, obviously cautious not to stray too far, and you can't really find any trace of any animals.
That's pretty strange. Is there any kind of anything you can tell in the area?
You find no tracks.
Right. Havel would return to the camp and probably just find everyone and just inform them that something feels a little off. So,
It is Light-Tooth.
Just be like,
you can't blame everything on me.
It's a bit of a weird one, guys. There's nothing nearby, no animals at all. It's not something I've come across, ever, really. There's something strange going on. I'd be pretty cautious tonight.
Does sound rather odd.
Nothing at all out there?
Nothing flying, nothing scurrying.
No insects,
Okay.
at least, or bugs?
Let's be careful with these watches then, folks. People feeling well rested?
Oh, I'm supremely well rested, yeah.
Okay, we'll take turns, but just be alert. Try not to sleep too deeply, I guess.
Would the party prefer if we took two-man watches this evening, just for extra care?
Yeah, a bit of overlap definitely wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I think I'd be good with that too.
Okay, so who is going to be taking the first watch?
In that case, I shall join you on the first watch while everyone falls asleep.
Okay.
Thank you. I hate staying up late.
Okay, so the rest of you kind of get your heads down. Triss and Yendorn, you kind of set up for your shift. The hours kind of tick by slowly. You're obviously quite attentive, having received this information from Havel. So Triss, you as you glance into the forest, you can see an eye.
Oh God, another one.
And you can doesn't take you long to see the second one. You kind of blink and rub your eyes, but then when you open them, they're still there and they're getting closer. And as you kind of go to grab Yendorn, you hear this kind of loud howl echo from the wolf. And will everybody roll me initiative, please?
Oh, let's go, boys!
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're not disguised as me anymore.
I know.
Oh yes.
Just have it, yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, so add your dexterities and then tell me what you got. So Yendorn,
17.
17. Okay. Triss. Or yeah, if you just want to add it to this tracker here, that would speed things up immensely. So let's see what Hrok's going to get. Okay, 17
Plus the dexterity, was it?
plus dexterity. Yeah.
That would put me +6, so
What a
11.
beautiful map, Crispy.
+6 on dexterity.
Plus 60 dexterity.
Yeah.
Who has that?
Oh no, +4. Sorry, +4.
I was about to say.
Yeah, you definitely
I was like,
can't
wait, what?
get
Oh,
+6.
It may be a dex saving throw you're thinking of.
Yeah, I did read the dex saving throw. You're right.
Yeah.
+4. There we go.
It just does a lot of yoga, that's all it is.
I was going to say
Okay.
22 dex at level 3.
Seems legit.
Triss, what did you roll? And what do you get?
I got an 8. I
Right,
think.
so
Let
with
me just
dexterity.
triple check that.
It'll be
Rolled 5 plus 3.
Okay, so
Yeah,
8.
okay.
Sure. So Triss, as you kind of see these eyes approaching, take long to discern what they're attached to. Kind of out of these trees comes kind of bounding at you. What appears to be some kind of almost dog-shaped beast. It's on its kind of all fours. Its ears are quite elongated, and it's got quite a long tail. Kind of huge fangs, and it's about the size of a reasonably large horse.
Jesus.
And as you turn to alert everybody, you see that there are 2 more approaching
Oh, Jesus.
from each side.
Okay.
So as you kind of shout the alarm, Hrok is kind of out of his sleeping bag almost in an instant. He kind of grasps the situation quite quickly. Oh God, they're here! Right, everybody, form up. Watch each other's backs. We'll get through this. So he kind of moves to engage, or at least intercept one of these beasts. So 10, 30. And he's gonna kind of take up.
How you can measure? I don't know how.
So 5 feet.
Each square is 5 feet.
5 feet per square. Yeah. That can be either sideways or diagonally. Yeah. So Hrok is kind of drawing his longsword as he moves, and you can see the edge kind of flashes a brilliant blue from the campfire as he pulls it from his scabbard. So he kind of leaps into action. I mean, he's old, still sharp. You can tell that much. Yendon, your turn.
Oh, it is I. Right, how far away are these?
So there's 2 coming from this direction as well. Right? These 2
5,
guys.
10, 15, 20, 25, too far. Okay. So, in order to kind of see them a bit better and cause a bit of damage at the same time, I can see this one up here, right?
Yes. Yeah, you've got line sight on him.
Yeah. So I'm just going to cast Sacred Flame on this. So it takes a Dexterity saving throw. with DC
Okay,
14.
so DC 14 saving throw. That is 13, so he fails it.
So I deal. I'm just going to double check the damage. I believe it's 1d6, but let me check. It is. Oh, 1d8. Oh, I pressed the 10. Hang on.
Alright, disregard this and then we'll case roll it again.
Yeah. Takes 3 damage.
3 damage to it.
Does
So,
that do you add your spell damage to it?
No, not with this cantrip.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a cantrip, sick.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So this creature is briefly touched by this fire that seems to materialize out of nowhere. It winces a little bit, but carries on going.
So I see that. Actually, no, never mind, because that was an action. So bonus action is drawing a weapon, right?
Yeah, drawing a weapon
Yes.
is actually no. Sorry, drawing. If you chief, drawing it is a free action.
Okay. Well,
It's only if you're swapping weapons that it's an action.
okay. Well, I draw my crossbow.
Okay.
And I don't do any bonus action, and I shall remain where I am also.
Okay. Certainly then. Rulen, you have obviously been woken from your trance state and a bit more awake than the others, so you react quite quickly to the alarm call.
Okay. Yep, I'll hop to my feet, draw my sword quickly, and sort of take it all in. So, I guess this same one that Yandon's been fighting, that's the one that's closest to me.
Mhm.
I will. Well, while it's still at range, I'll throw a kunai at it.
Okay, roll me the dice, please.
Okay.
So
that's,
that is a hit.
19, yeah. Okay, and then it's a 1d4 plus 3. Oh, nope, that's wrong. Ignore that. That's 5 damage.
5 damage to it. So the kunai flies out, kind of hits it in the kind of front leg. You kind of hear it growl. And it kind of reaches down its maw and kind of bites a handle off this kunai and kind of spits it out.
Okay, it'll then remain where he's standing, but just like draws his sword and gets ready for it to be rushing towards him.
Okay. And rush towards him it shall.
Jesus.
So these things, they're big and they're fast. They kind of bound towards you at a very fast rate. So he's going to attack Rulen. The other one is going to go out and meet Croc's charge. And the other one is he's going to skirt around Titus because he can see Titus is the biggest one. And he sees the squishy looking gnome and thinks that would be a very good chew toy. But he's actually going to howl. And this is... It's not the howl you would expect a wolf to make. This is deeply unsettling. Everybody roll me a saving.
What was that?
Wisdom saving throw, DC 13. So
would this be a magical effect?
it would be a magical effect.
I get advantage.
I believe I also get advantage.
Okay, so everybody tell me whether you've passed or failed that then.
I'm just checking if I do get advantage.
Cool, 9 plus... It was wisdom, right?
It was wisdom.
Ooh. I still fail.
Alrighty.
Mine was 19.
Titus has also failed.
Mine was 19 as well.
Okay.
Rulen has failed.
So, for those of you who have failed, this howl is something you've never heard before. It strikes terror, kind of almost to your soul. You are now frightened. So any ability checks, attack roll you're going to make are going to be at disadvantage while this is alive and within your line of sight. And you cannot willingly move closer to the source of your fear. You will be able
That's
to...
just to that one, right?
That's just to that one, that you are frightened of, yeah. But you will be able to make that wisdom saving throw again. Once you've succeeded, you are immune for a 24-hour period. So everyone who's passed, you won't need to make any any subsequent saving throws.
What was
But,
the DC again? Sorry.
It was 13.
Oh, I got a 12, so I am frightened.
So yeah, I mean these are big, but clearly very dangerous. So you guys, having just woken up as well, kind of struggle to kind of face this without this kind of terror welling up in your souls. Now the first one is going to attack Rulin here.
Okay.
So he's going to kind of take a bite at you with his large maw. So it's going to be 14.
That's 15 AC.
As the jaws come clashing down, you kind of manage to almost throw yourself out of the way just in time. And he kind of closes his gaping maw on the airway. But he manages to snag a little corner of your robes as he goes. But thankfully, your body is no longer in the way.
Good.
The other one, he is going to make his bites against Rock. And it is going to hit. So, I just realised I didn't do the saving throw for Rock against being frightened. So let's see if Rock is frightened of it. He's not. That's what, 2 19s in a row, fuck's sake. So Rock, despite his alarm at initially being ambushed, he's clearly putting the years of experience he has to good use. He stands his ground, but he's unable to dodge in his heavy plate as easily as you were, Rulin. So the creature's jaws kind of clamp around his left forearm. You can see that the chainmail kind of starts to give in a few places, and he is going to take some damage from that. Okay, so he's going to take 11 damage.
Oh, Jesus! In one hit!
Yeah,
Wow.
Harok is clearly quite affected by this. He's not as young as he used to be. His resistance to wounds and his ability to recover from them are obviously going to be a bit slower. But he kind of manages to yank his arm out before the creature rips it off. Okay.
Someone's going to help him.
Ooh. Torek does not like the sight of this thing in front of me. I think it's time that I'm just going to take like a support role. I do not like the fact that he has taken so much damage. So for a bonus action, I think I'm going to I'm going to fire a little dart across and into Horok. And this will be me representative casting Healing Word on him.
Okay, so this little dart kind of whizzes over, and you hit him in the kind of the joint between his helmet and his breastplate. The needle kind of goes through the gaps between the chainmail. So roll me dice, please. Oh, he heals 4 damage. Oh, plus your
Plus my int, yeah.
So you can see that this chemical starts to work quite quickly, and the bleeding on his forearm seems to slow down quite substantially. He doesn't react because he's obviously busy, but you can tell that his movement is a lot more fluid now.
Cool. I think with the way this wolf was looking at me, I'm going to try and just avoid it. Using my gnomish instincts, I'm going to use a cantrip of minor illusion to make an image of myself stood where I was, and then just try and hide behind this tent out of sight.
Okay, so you do this, and you kind of sidestep away. The beast is going to make a wisdom saving throw, and it doesn't seem to notice that this is an illusion.
Very nice.
That's so sneaky. It's fucking light tooth, dude.
Sneaky chicken.
Alrighty. At which point I think that brings us to Havel. Then, if you've got nothing else.
Sorry, all done. Okay. I'm thinking with me being ranged attack. Am I able to climb trees? Aren't I?
You could certainly try.
So I'm thinking if I can get a bit of a higher point of view, it'd be a bit easy for me to assist in trying to pick.
Yeah, you'd get. If you were up a tree, you'd kind of be able to see over tents and stuff. You'd get good line of sight.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this tree here. That's the one I'm going for. So if I was there, do I have enough? I should have enough movement to make it there.
Sure. Okay. So you make it to the base of a tree, and for a few low hanging branches, so you can't leap up and try and grab them. Roll me a acrobatic. Please.
Cool. Ah, my God. Here we go. One sec. It's just D20, isn't it?
It'll be a D20, yeah.
Let me get my acrobatics plus 4 to whatever it is, so 12.
12. So you managed to lower branches and haul yourself up. You've obviously climbed a lot of trees in your line of work, so you managed to get yourself up and in position quite quickly. And sure enough, as you turn around, you can see you've got line of sight on all three of these beasts now.
That's sick.
So my thinking is to try and help get rid of this one that's on a rock right now. Oh, actually. Yeah, I want to take a pop shot at this little bad boy with a rock right now.
Okay.
This one's to be.
So you weren't frightened, so just roll me regular attack dice.
Sick. And that is 1. Oh. Yeah, 1d8 plus 4, and I get proficiency with bows as well. So it's an 8 plus 4 plus 2, so plus 6. 14.
Wait, are you rolling to hit?
Oh wait.
Yeah, did you just, I think you
Yeah,
just
you
rolled
rolled
one
20
dice for
to
that?
hit, James. Yep.
Yeah, that was me. My bad. Sorry.
No worries.
Oh. Hit DC was 6.
So
8. Sorry.
Well, no, you add. So when you
add
do,
you add your 6 to it, so
so 12.
so 12. So as this arrow is loosed from your bow, the creature sees it coming, but as the arrow kind of moves to hit his flesh, you see it flicker, and the arrow goes straight through.
Oh shit.
What?
Hmm.
That's not good.
Okay.
So yeah, Jace, just a quick. When you roll to hit, you roll a d20, and then you add with your bow. You would add your dexterity and your proficiency, and then when you roll damage would then be the d8 plus dex. You don't add proficiency to damage.
It should say on the character sheet what the total addition to the hit bonus is.
Yeah,
it's quite intuitive.
on your actions.
Oh, so that hit DC. Is that the total?
DC is something if you're casting spells that an enemy needs to make a save for. That's the number they need to beat to pass the saving throw.
It's got plus 8 on.
Yeah, it kind of says the spell DC and doesn't explain what it is on those sheets.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it does assume a somewhat basic knowledge. So if you're new to it, it can be quite a bit. But yeah, Chaz has given a fairly succinct
Alright, okay. That's fine.
explanation there. Okay, so now we have either Titus or Triss. I'll let you decide who wants to act first.
Triss can go first.
You sure? You don't think it would be better Titus going first?
Titus is terrified right now.
You can't approach that creature, but Luckily, the creature's looking at this illusion here. Hopefully, it'll go for it, and Titus will be all right.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna use a cantrip. I think I'm gonna use thaumaturgy.
Okay.
Very
I'm
nice.
gonna attempt to just like frighten them a little bit. So I'm gonna cast this. I'm gonna choose to make my voice basically as loud as it can go. I want to cause a little tremor in the ground, and I want to make that fire as bright as it'll go. She's gonna tell them off. Bad dogs, what are you doing? Get down! Stop it!
Okay. So the hounds, they kind of pull up for a bit. They kind of stop what they're doing and look at this fire. Then Triss, roll me a perception.
Okay. It's 19.
So as they kind of rear backwards for a moment, they it seems that they've kind of got their heads cocked to one side as if they're almost listening to a set of instructions, and then they resume their attack.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Titus
Yeah.
wouldn't know that. Titus wouldn't know. Titus-
So unfortunately, you haven't been able to frighten them off. They've clearly been kind of bolstered by some unseen force to continue their attack.
Whoa!
And then that brings us on to any bonus actions or move.
I think. Just hold on a second. Bonus actions. I think I can use actually 2 weapon fighting is in my bonus action section. Does that sound right?
If you're using daggers, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 2 daggers. Would I just have a little jab, or where are we at with that? What would
So,
be the thing that would be available in this
So
situation?
two weapon fighting, if I remember correctly, just means that as your bonus action, you can make an attack with your offhand weapon. And I think with daggers, you then get the option of either stabbing or throwing.
I'm reasonably far. I think I'd probably have a go at stabbing this fella here on this side. Maybe throwing, actually. I think I'd maybe throw my dagger.
Sure, because you weren't frightened, were you?
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I think I'd stay where I was at because I'm kind of reasonably far from them. How do I do that?
So roll me a d20, please.
Okie dokie. Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Wow.
Jesus.
So
So,
she threw it then?
Yeah, that was the idea. I was just gonna.
So as you hurl this dagger forwards, you see that as it flies, it starts to glow with a kind of almost a otherworldly energy. And although this beast sees it coming and tries to kind of shift out of its way, the dagger kind of hits in it, kind of sticks. It doesn't go through like the previous arrow did. So roll me 2 times the damage dice for that, please. So roll me 2d4 and then plus 3.
Okay. 5.
So 10 damage.
That.
Wait, had to roll a 5 on d4.
Yeah, that wasn't a D4.
Sorry, these little triangle ones over here.
Oh shit! If I rolled the wrong thing.
I think we've all done it so far this
Yeah,
round.
There we go.
Yeah. Nice.
Still,
Shit,
I mean, so this energy kind of hits it quite hard, and you hear it yelp as this dagger kind of lodges firmly in its
Nice.
strong. But that is now a dagger that is lodged in this creature.
Mhm.
So you've now got one left on your person.
I'm down a dagger. Thank you.
Okay, Titus.
Titus sees that Rulin is in trouble and is terrified of this guy right here. So he doesn't want to fight this. And obviously he's not really noticed what Triss and Torrik are doing to it and tricking it. He's going to he's only focused on Rulin. So he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to stop there at 25 feet.
Okay.
And sort of push past Rulin to defend him.
Yeah.
To like sort of get in the way, and bonus action he's going to rage.
Okay. So Titus kind of hears the roaring and of these creatures and lets out a roar as he charges in,
cursing it in giant. And I'm going to use my great axe, and I'm going to do reckless as well, so I get advantage.
Okay, which is quite a good way of dispelling the disadvantage you would have. So roll me that attack, please.
That's a nat 20.
Wow.
Okay,
so double the damage die.
Yep, double damage die. So 2d12 plus your strength, please.
2d12 plus, plus 2.
And plus 2 for your age, yeah. So 16
so
plus.
That's 20 damage.
20 damage. So as you kind of swing this axe down on it, you hit it. You hear it yelp, but it's not quite as much of an effect as you were hoping for. It seems that the steel of this axe hasn't really caused the same wound this might on another creature.
Oh.
He just puts his hand out to cover Rulin as much as he can.
Sure.
And the tattoos start glowing, and now that creature will get disadvantage
on anything other than yep, sure.
And also resistance to damage too.
And resistance to damage. Okay. Very nice. So as this is going on, Croc takes a swing at the hand front of him with his long sword. Crits around.
Holy shit!
So he kind of brings this down with both his hands. So that's going to be. Well, no settling. Either way, it's going to be 11 plus 4, so 15 damage. And you can see the kind of the bright blue edge bites into this creature. You hear it kind of whelp, and you see kind of black blood kind of pump from the wound. Very good roll from Rock there to kind of almost as if the wound he'd received from it actually gave him more resolve to kill this thing. He, kind of with his bonus action, shouts to you all, "Don't let up! They're fierce, but we can kill them!"
Yay.
Okay.
And Yendon.
Right. So this one here, that's the source of the fear, right?
It is.
Number 3. Right. So if I move away to here, probably to here actually. I believe I have line of sight on all 3.
Yep.
And they're all within 30. So I'm going.
Oh, sorry, Rich. Titus, at the end of your go, you can make an. Forgotten about that.
Oh, what? Sorry.
Your wisdom saving throw to get over being frightened. Don't want to deny you a chance of that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rich. Just wanted to check.
That's fine.
Okay, he's still frightened.
And I'm going to cast the spell Bane on all 3 of the creatures. Okay. So each needs to make a charisma saving throw, DC 14.
Alrighty, so we'll do the one fighting against Croc first. So that's actually a non-natural 1, so he fails it. The one that's kind of in the middle there.
Okay.
So that's 2. And the final one. And that is they're all failures.
All failures. So it's a concentration spell, and for up to a minute, whenever one of those enemies makes an attack roll, it rolls a d4 and subtracts that from the attack roll.
Okay. Okay, that's
Holy shit, Rich! What's that spell called?
Bane.
Bane.
So, Yendel, you in fact, no. How do you spells? Is there a prayer on your lips? Is it to do with your focus? Describe it to me.
So I like lightly close my eyes and try and visualize where the 3 targets are. I'm just looking for my notes. And from the 4 words that are ingrained into Yendorn's mind, he just really very faintly whispers the word peace. And as he does, he touches the spell book on his hip, and almost like vapors, this green mist sort of seeps towards the 3 enemies and surrounds their heads, sort of actually no, sorry, surrounds like their hands, their claws, sort of like suppressing their ability to make attacks.
Oh.
Okay, cool. So everybody, you see these beasts kind of start to have these misty, almost mini fog clouds around their feet, so an unnatural green color, and you can see that Yendor's kind of got his eyes closed. Clearly the one responsible for this. But very cool.
And then no bonus action, no further movement.
Brilliant.
Okay. Save and throw at the end of the turn, did you say?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah,
I need
Rich,
to do that as well.
I always forget about those things.
So that would be a 16.
For wisdom.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
wisdom's my main stat.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, calmed by your prayer, the terror subsides, and your mind clears.
Nice.
Obviously, concentrating on the task at hand.
Okay.
Very cool. And yeah, sorry, Cal, carry on.
Yep. Okay. So he's had a chance to kind of, study the creatures a little bit as they've been attacking and approaching, and Rulden just kind of wants to see if he knows what kind of creature this is.
Roll me an Arcana.
Arcana. Okay. Oh,
what is it with these? Rulin, you've only ever seen these referred to in books, but these are referred to in your in the Lothari Empire as Yef hounds. They are bound by contract to someone who has summoned them for a purpose. They're unnatural, they're unrelenting. Kill.
okay.
Summon these.
So this is just a straight up question, but based on something I want to try and do, are they a fiend or undead?
So you would know that these creatures don't really fall neatly into one particular category. Nobody really knows what they are. They're extraordinarily rare and quite occult in nature.
Occult.
Definitely unnatural. You would know that they're not native to this plane of existence.
Okay. I don't know. I don't want to metagame too hard, but basically my thought was if it's some kind of like fiendish evil type creature, I have a flask of holy water, but would that have any effect on it? I guess is
Always try.
yeah.
Standard DM response.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it a try. So I'll, as an action, I'll, seeing this as some kind of devilish type creature, I'll pull a flask of holy water and splash the contents onto the creature. So if it is a fiend or undead, it would take 2d6 radiant damage.
Okay. So you pull this flask out from your robes, and kind of in one fluid action, you kind of unstopper it and spray, kind of fling this water across the beast. It doesn't seem to slow it at all or have an effect.
Okay.
It would appear that this is not a fiend or undead.
Does that count as an attack action as well?
I'll give that to you as a bonus action because it's only like it'd be like pulling out a weapon once.
Okay, fair enough. Let me just remove one flask of holy water from my inventory. Okay, and then I'll presume to just do an attack with my ninjato short sword.
Okay.
At disadvantage because I'm still frightened.
Hits.
Not bad. Let me do 1d6 plus 3. Let me get the right dice this time. That'll be 6 damage.
Okay, so again, the steel doesn't really bite too hard into this creature, but as it kind of reacts to the water, you do manage to land the hit.
Okay.
Hold up.
What?
You said so when Titus hit with his big damage, Titus knows what 20 damage feels like. Does
Yeah,
that feel like 20 damage?
it did not feel like 20 damage.
Okay.
No resistance to
Okay.
non-magical.
Yep.
Okay. And I've used, I suppose, my bonus action, so that'll be it, I guess.
Okay.
And do a wisdom
And your
saving throw.
saving throw, please.
Come on. Hey.
So you kind of, now that you've landed the hit on it, you know that it will take damage. You kind of feel your resolve coming back, and your training start to kick in as your mind becomes more focused.
And with Titus standing at my side, I feel a little bit more.
It's always a bit easier to feel confident when. Yeah.
Let us kill this thing, brother!
Yes, let's.
Okay, so the hound in the middle lunges at Torek, and his maw opens and snaps shut. And Torek disappears in a puff. Kind of quite frustrated, this creature kind of roars out in anguish, but he hasn't kind of found flesh to tear into. Next one, he is going to kind of respond to this big blow from Titus by attacking him, and he's going to do it because you reckless attacked with advantage.
Mm-hmm. Minus D4.
Minus for D4. So, Rich, roll me a D4, please.
This could be crucial. So that 14 is good.
Plus 6, so it'll be 20, and then... So, 17.
That is.
So, Titus, you are going to take... You feel this creature kind of like bite into your lower left leg. So you're going to take 2d6 plus 4 piercing damage. So 7 plus 4 is going to be 11. So you're going to take 5 piercing damage. And then, because you're still frightened, you are going to take 2d6 plus 4 psychic damage.
What? I'm going to take what psychic damage?
2d6 plus 4. So 15 psychic damage. As you feel this bite, the teeth don't worry you, but something seeps into your body and you can feel this existential dread tear at the very fabric of your mind. So 15 further damage. You guys, you can see that Titus kind of like clutches his head, really in pain. He's not as steady as he usually is on his feet.
I just took 20 damage in one hit.
Isn't that reduced by something? Don't you have like a
No,
Titan
not for
stone thing?
psychic. No,
Oh,
Titus is he's resistant to physical, but not. If I wasn't resistant to physical, that would have been 31 damage in one hit.
And then
Holy, that's one-shotting most of us. Holy shit!
the next one is going to take a bite out of Rock, or at least attempt to. So 16 and Rich, roll your d4.
Nice.
So as he kind of goes to make his attack, the green mist seems to almost visibly slow down. It buys Rock enough time to kind of parry it out of the way with his longsword. Okay, Toric. You've just seen this creature pounce on your illusion. You can see it now around the side of the tent, and you can see that it knows you're now standing there.
Yes, that is terrifying, and I think I'm still afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Titus, are you in trouble? Like, do you need help?
He wouldn't be able to communicate. His arm is in the beast's mouth, and he's freaking out.
Shit. Okay. You know what? I am gonna do it. I can't let Titus see any more harm than he needs to. I'm going to cast Sanctuary on Titus.
Okay, Sanctuary.
Nice. So essentially, he'll be warded from future attacks. I'm gonna do it in the form of firing a small magnet with a cage of like wasps in it.
Okay.
At Titus, which will attach to his weapon, and anything that comes close to him, the wasps will start to swarm. So it's more a deterrent than anything. That's I couldn't think. I thought.
Do you know why that's an amazing ability?
Why?
Because if he fails that and has to attack another target, he gets disadvantage on the attack because it's not Titus.
Yep.
Oh my god!
That's a very powerful combination.
That's an OP combo.
So yes, this the addition of yet more bees has not made the situation better for the town.
Cool.
Titus, you've got a bit of breathing room, essentially.
And I hope Titus can remember that the bees mean no fighty for a bit.
Okay, very cool.
Cool. So
Awesome.
that's my spell. That took a bonus action.
Yeah.
So sorry. What is this? This is really stupid. But what are the mechanics of Sanctuary?
So every time he wants to attack you, he has to make a Wisdom saving throw first, and if he fails, he is forced to pick a different target.
Or the attack fails.
Or the attack fails if he hasn't got a viable target. Yeah.
That's sick.
So yeah, I thought it'd be cool to represent it like I'm the bees.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like a
very cool.
deterrent.
Bumblebees,
So that's
bumblebees, no attack me's.
that's
Bumblebees, no attack me's.
that's your bonus action.
Nice. I'll Oh shoot. I doubt this thing is going to fall for the same trick again. So I'm going to just do a regular attack on him. I'm going to shoot the bladed boomerang at him, and then duck behind this tent here.
Okay, so roll me the attack, but it will be to a disadvantage because you are frightened.
Yes.
Rightfully so, to be fair. This thing's like, a horse size and you're a gnome.
Ooh, that was...
Still not bad, so that connects.
Sweet. So, shit. It was plus 6, so it'd be 16.
Yeah, that hits.
Dude, the boomer blade is
1d4
fucking
plus
sick.
4. It did 5 damage.
Okay. So again, the boomer blade kind of hits it. It doesn't seem to draw much reaction from the creature.
Oh shit! It spins round as I duck behind this cover.
Yeah. So as you duck back, you can see it kind of goes around the sides. It kind of cuts a few of the guy lines, tents, comes back, but it kind of reattaches itself to your gauntlet.
God, it's so scary. All right, that's my turn there.
Okay. Havel, up in your tree, you can kind of see everything. You've got line of sight on everything at this point.
Let's have a look. So, this one in the centre. Sorry, has that been touched at all?
Yes.
Yeah, it was that one. That was it, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I was thinking,
it's been baned, and it's been hit by the boomer blade, and it's been hit by one of Tripper's knives.
Yeah.
It's got a big dagger sticking out the side of it.
Yeah, because we're seeing that one approaching closer. After it went for Torek, and now it's closer to the rest of them coming up behind, ruling Titus and coming up on Triss. I decided to turn my attention away from Rock for a moment, just to try and lend some support and take a shot over there.
Okay, roll me the dice, then please. D20.
D20, and this is where proficiency comes in, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So that'll be plus, I think.
Plus
Oh, you've got more than that, because it'll be proficiency plus your dexterity.
Oh, then it's plus 6.
Which case it hits. So
longbow, you've got plus 8 to that, according to.
Do I? Oh, yeah, plus 8. 18.
How do you manage plus 8?
Rangers get plus 2
archery.
to ranged. Yeah.
Of course, the archery is their. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, it definitely. This time the arrow sticks in as this creature's kind of distracted by the dagger and the boomer blade. So roll me the d8s, please, plus dex.
8 plus 4. So
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
12 damage. So again, this arrow kind of sticks into it. It's not too bothered, but you can tell that it's kind of starting to slow a little bit under these attacks, these sustained ranged attacks. Okay.
And that's about all I'm going to do. I'm going to stay in my tree.
Mm-hmm. And then Titus and Triss.
How are we doing the order again? Same way?
It's up to you. You can decide each turn if you like.
Yeah, I feel like with Titus's arm being stuck in this thing's mouth, I feel like Triss would be quicker.
Okay, cool. Triss is going to use Eldritch Blast on the one that's closest to her. This bad boy here that she's already stuck the knife in.
Okay, roll me the d20 to hit.
Where am I at? I've got myself. Is this where you'd add a proficiency bonus as well, or is that?
Yeah. So at this point, you would add your proficiency, which is plus 2, and then you would add your charisma for a warlock.
That will be
Plus 4, I think, isn't it?
Plus
so,
6 total.
Plus 6 in total. So 14. Yeah. Okay, so Triss, as you reach out your hand, a kind of a bolt of brilliant energy erupts forward. It's kind of a dazzling blow with colours that you don't think you've ever seen before, but at the same time seem almost familiar to you, and it strikes the creature square in the maw. Roll me the damage dice, please.
So that's 1d10. Which one's the d10?
So the d10 is going to be this one here.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries.
Ooh.
You add your spell damage to that.
Okay.
So it'll be +4. So it's 6 damage.
Okay.
It's not bad. I mean,
Chip away at it.
what you can tell though is that this blast does seem to grab the creature's attention.
Oh God.
Whereas the physical attacks haven't really been bothering them too much, this magical blast seems to have hit with full force.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. That's me done. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with. Actually, can I move away a bit?
Yeah, you can move. Although you are within its zone of control here, so it would get an opportunity attack if you were to leave.
Yeah.
Because these are large creatures, so they take up a 10 by 10.
Can I get between these two tents, or?
You could definitely dash that way, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It'll get an attack though.
It would make an attack on you as you leave, though, an attack of opportunity. So it's. I mean, he does still have Bane on him, but that's up to you.
I think maybe I'll stick where I'm at. Actually, I'm not super far out of the way. Yeah, no, I'll stay put.
Okay.
Over to Titus.
Cool. Guy, did you roll me? Sorry, Chaz. Guy, did you roll me the wisdom saving throw again?
I did not. No, I was rolling a lot of dice in my turn. In all fairness.
Sorry, I'm terrible at these end of turn redoing saving throws.
That's cool, mate.
Just don't want to rob you of any chances.
Oh wait, is there a magic effect?
It is a magic effect.
Yes. Oh, thank God for advantage. Oh no.
Thank God for advantage.
For advantage. So what's that total?
That's 6.
So you're still.
Wait, no, 9. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got a -3.
-3 on wisdom saving throw.
So you still don't like the fact that a horse-sized hellhound is trying to kill you. You're still quaking in your boots. Sorry, carry on, Chaz. I just need to always remember.
Even though the hounds aren't that big for Titus, the grip that it has on his arm reminds him, as the psychic damage hits, 15 psychic damage. That's nearly half.
Yeah, you know that this is something inherently unnatural. And magic, as you say, is not something Titus is familiar with. I imagine that something magical trying to kill him. Like, he knows he can, like, give out a lot of damage to a warrior who bleeds, but
this doesn't.
A creature like this,
the grip it has on his arm reminds him of the shackles that once chained him to a forge for 4 years, and it just racks him the wrong way. So he's still feared, but defending Rulon and with his allies around him, he's going to do another reckless attack on this creature, and he's still enraged. So it's going to be just a regular attack, no advantage. Oh no. That's going to be 9.
So, with your head still spinning from this this latest kind of influx of, well, you don't know if it was poison or what, but your axe swings wildly. It's nowhere near the best that you're able to do, but it's almost a bit of a kind of a rushed panic swing, and the creature kind of avoids it easily.
Shit. That means the sanctuary.
As his bonus action, he's gonna shove Rulon back out of the way to try and like get him cover him and get in the way.
Okay. So, going back round, Rock, he's still trying to keep this creature at bay to buy a bit of breathing room for Torek and Yendorn, so he's going to make an It's going to hit as well. So. Oh. So sure enough, the expertise that you've come to expect from your order master is being applied again. You see the blue blade kind of come up after its previous brutal downswing and kind of catch the creature's the bit where the dog's kind of like got their belly quite low to swings up, cuts deep into that. You can see that the blue blade is not only connecting, but it's seeming to inflict quite deep wounds. So the creature's it's starting to kind of really look like it's hesitating about fighting Croc here. Okay, Yandorn.
So Yandorn looks at the one that previously frightened everyone and sees that Triss is kind of on her own, trying to defend herself against that. So he casts the level 2 spell Spiritual Weapon, and in the tile next to this creature, you see the same, almost the same green mist from before rising out and forming into sort of the shape of a mace. But as you look at it, it kind of almost looks solid, almost kind of like emerald, but at the same time,
so kind of Green Lantern kind of
construct, yeah.
Not to take away from the epicness, but that kind of thing. Okay, yeah. So what from the mace are you saying? Sure thing. Very cool. So, yes, now is an attack roll. I think you get to add your spellcasting ability modifier to that, don't you? So,
do
you want to roll me that, please?
So that's a 19 to hit.
It connects.
And it does. That is 14 nice. Damage.
14 damage.
Yeah.
So this magical weapon kind of swings and connects like with the chest of this beast, and you can see it kind of almost kind of get. It has to really kind of brace itself, stop being knocked back. You can see that the magical nature of this weapon has inflicted quite a heavy blow to this beast.
And as the spiritual mace is swinging, I double up the attack by casting Sacred Flame on the same creature.
Okay, so he's going to take a dexterity saving throw. So that's going to be plus dex, and he's proficient in it. That is going to be 22. So I think even with your D4, it's going to succeed.
Yeah, I think when it winced after the hit from the mace, I kind of missed.
Yeah, you didn't count for him actually slowing as much as he did, perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the hound is clearly having taken both an Eldritch Blast and a spiritual mace. It starts to slow a little.
And I will move just... Oops. That's my wrong screen. I'll just move slightly closer to the tent, just so I've got like slight cover from...
okay, sure. Right, Roland.
Okay. So is Titus? So when you say about Titus being bitten, is he being sort of pinned?
No, he's free to move. It was a harsh bite, but he's not trapped in its maw.
Okay. So Titus is trying to push Roland back, but he just kind of ducks in around and takes a swing at the beast in front of him with his short sword.
Okay, roll me to hit, please.
Yep. No more disadvantage.
No disadvantage.
My God!
Oh, cow!
Oh no!
Oh my good God!
Okay, so this short sword, not only does it phase directly through the creature as it sees it coming, but because it doesn't connect where you're expecting it to, you find yourself off balance and kind of stumble forward a little bit, at which point the creature takes an attack at you, which you will do at disadvantage because you're not Titus and the Spirit Guardians are in place.
Okay.
Oh, and it's a good job too. Fucking hell.
Oh shit.
That's
Oh my
still.
God.
It's not a crit, but
-1.
that is going to be 12 plus 5, so 17. That is going to connect.
Is that a minus? On
Yeah, minus for D4 that Rich just rolled. So it's going to be 2d6
okay.
plus 4 piercing damage, I'm afraid.
2d6 plus 4.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you take 11 piercing damage as a creature bites down on your sword arm.
Okay.
Titus did not do his wisdom save to see if he's still frightened.
He did not, did he?
Because I rolled 2 when we forgot last time, but then we forgot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That-
19.
Yeah, so that works. Now you've seen Rulin get attacked.
I was going to say, if everything to sober him up.
Yeah, you've seen Rulin kind of get bitten, and you know that you know the pain that you felt, so you can only imagine what a little squishy elf like Rulin is feeling. So now that you're not frightened by it, you will no longer take any damage if you're bitten.
Alright, okay. Right, so bonus action, if I still get one, even despite the fact that it was an epic fail. I'll spend a key point to do Flurry of Blows, and I'll make 2 unarmed attacks against the thing.
Okay, sure.
Fuck me. Jesus.
That's another one. Oh. Cal, what is it with you and just nat 20s and nat 1s?
I don't know.
Okay, so one of the blows being a nat 1, I'm going to say instead of taking another attack, it just cancels out the one that hits.
Okay.
So you feel that this blow, you're not happy with it after this bite, so you stop yourself just in time and kind of convert it to almost a feint. And as you see this feint stop, the creature kind of lashes out where he thinks your arm would have been if it continued to strike, but because you pulled up short, it doesn't connect with you.
Okay. Well, that's it. My turn's over.
Seesawing between success and failure.
Yep.
Okay, so the hounds are going to attack now. This one is going to... He's done fighting Croc. He doesn't like this sword that he's wielding. So he is going to actually run past it. And he's going to try and get up your tree there, Jason. But Croc is going to make a reaction attack of opportunity. And he's going to hit. Because he's a badass. So that's going to be 11 further damage, beast. It's really not looking good now. This creature is taking a bit of a battering, but he's going to, bleeding his ears, try and make it up into your tree. So he's going to roll an acrobatics to kind of leap up. So it's Rich. Do you want to roll me a?
It's only for attack rolls.
Is it only for attack rolls?
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, he's going to make it up against Havel. Rich for dice.
Sorry? Oh, yeah.
Can you roll me a d4, please?
Yeah, I was just reading the thing. It's attack rolls or saving throws, actually.
Okay. So that's still going to be a hit, I'm afraid. So, Havel, as you kind of see this creature come bounding towards you, it's big and its claws kind of dig deep into the tree bark, and it kind of launches itself up, and you feel the creature's maw kind of latch firmly around your midriff in this tree, so you can take some damage. So you're going to take 10 piercing damage from this creature's bite.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm stopping on.
Okay.
How much do you have left, Jace?
So what does AC? Does this come into it at any point?
So your armor is
That
what
was
he has to.
determining to hit.
When he rolls to hit, that determines the score he needs to beat.
Alright, so... Oh, mine was 15, he would have gotten it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got you.
So, minus 10.
Plus you're on 12 HP left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
The next hound, having kind of just taken this brilliant blast of energy from Triss, is going to make an attack roll against Triss.
Because it's only to be expected.
Triss is not frightened, right?
She's not. No.
Okay, good.
So, Rich, can you roll me a D4, please?
Because Triss's wisdom's like through the roof.
15, 13, not quite enough. So this, despite the green energy around its maw, it still manages to get a bite on Triss, who's clearly not used to the close quarters combat she's found herself in.
Damn.
So that's 12 damage there.
Oh shit.
God.
It's not good.
6 HP remaining.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, she does not have a lot in the way of hit points.
She's a very much the definition of glass cannon.
Yeah, we keep her out of the way. It's all alright. This is not ideal.
We
Shit.
need to save Triss.
Okay, the other one is going to have to make a wisdom saving throw because he's wanting to attack Titus. Rich, the D4 if you would.
Of course. -1.
So, dissuaded by the bees, the creature actually attacks Rulin instead, but he's going to do it at disadvantage because of the Spirit Guardians.
There we go,
That's
220s.
That is a powerful combo.
Oops.
Mhm.
Oh,
So as it goes to bite down on Rulin, a kind of a spectral blue Goliath appears in between the two creatures and grabs with one hand each on the top and the bottom of its jaw and kind of keeps this creature's mouth open long enough for Rulin to remove himself from it before disappearing and the creature's maw coming closed on thin air.
Would Titus know which of his ancestors that was?
No, not necessarily, because you might not have been a ancestor was.
Okay.
These guardians go back from your tribe. It won't just be like your immediate family.
But it could be someday.
It might be one day. But you didn't recognise this guardian. Okay.
Sorry, I've just read through that Ancestral Protectors. It says whenever target hits a creature other than you with an attack, the creature it hits has resistance.
Yeah, it gets resistance as well. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. That
It's very
It's really powerful, dude.
Yeah,
But I have to hit them. I need to
that
keep
is-
hitting them.
that is the
Yeah.
thing. Okay, Torek,
Hmm.
your turn.
Ooh. Oh dear. So Triss is in trouble now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Havel's got company up in his treehouse.
And if I is sanctuary a concentration? I would believe so.
I don't think it is.
Oh, that's
If
It's
I
not.
remember,
It's not.
I'll read it, but I'm pretty sure when I looked at it, it was just a minute duration.
I've got it on my spells.
It's a minute duration, but it also fades if you hit someone with an attack.
Let me bring it up real quick. Because I guess with you, it's mechanical as well. So you don't necessarily need to be a concentration because you're literally just hurling cages of bees around. Great flavouring on that, by the way.
Thank you. Oh shit.
Yeah,
He's doing something with pheromones, but bees just seemed funny.
It's just a bonus action, so just a minute duration, so you can hurl that bad boy around.
It's such a great visual image. Like, there's no real technical anything involved. It's just a box of bees that he's
just
throwing at people.
My briefcase full of bees will solve it.
It's like no creature from the lowliest goblin to the mightiest pit fiend really wants to fuck with bees.
Yeah.
Bumblebees, no hit me. Bumblebees.
Oh, there we go. If the warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, or deals damage to another, the spell ends.
Yeah.
So
one action.
That's the point. That's the point, actually. So the sanctuary now protecting Titus is over.
Okay.
But I mean, it served its purpose. So
I think I'm gonna do the same on Triss, because she's on low health, and I want to make her survive.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm gonna roll out from behind this tent with 5 movement, shoot the bees at Triss, and kind of just stumble back into the cover.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this cage of bees lands at Triss's feet, erupts violently, but somehow
Gift of bees.
somehow the gift that just keeps on giving.
I believe in you.
Okay, so that's a bonus action used.
Cool. I'll then boom a blade, the one that's trying to climb this tree.
Okay, so roll me the hit dice with disadvantage because you are still frightened.
Oh, am I frightened by all of them?
Any ability check you make.
Guy, do not get hit, mate. Just
Okay, so that hits again. I don't think you've missed an attack yet this campaign.
I like to think I fire it, it misses, and then I retract it back, it hits it in the back of the head.
So 2
that's 6
plus
damage.
6 damage. Okay, so again, it's not a full force we're hoping for, but this creature's taken a bit, so it's it does seem to react a little bit. Okay.
Nice.
And Havel, you now have company up in your tree. This thing is close to you, very close.
Don't know how much I like this idea of it being close. Give me a moment. So, just out of curiosity, is it on the same kind of branch I'm on? Is it a little bit below?
So you're kind of sitting on branch, and this is kind of a little bit below, but it's got its claws embedded in the trunk, so it's kind of like a few feet below, kind of snapping away at your lower body.
You got anything you can use in close quarters?
For 2 short swords.
You would be able to hit it with your swords at this range, or your bows. Although switching to your weapons would be an action because you'd have to sheath your bow.
Okay, there we go.
dude, I'd just shoot it.
That's answered some question.
just shoot it in the face.
I would maybe just give it a.
I mean, I could shoot it and run, couldn't I?
Don't you have anything beastie based?
But I'll
Sort of an animal?
no.
Possibly?
I've got a favoured enemy that's only for tracking.
Oh right. Shoot it. It's big fat face.
Alright, yeah. Oh, fuck it. I'm gonna aim for its big old noggin.
Okay, so because it's within 5 feet of you and you're using,
Oh shit.
it's going to be hard to aim, so it would be rolling with disadvantage. obviously quite hard to focus while this kind of big gaping maw is just snapping away at your ankles.
Or would it be better to move and then?
That's all about the movement.
Okay. Fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. So 2d20, isn't it, with disadvantage?
It is, yes.
So.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh, Jason.
Oh my god.
Big oof.
What did you roll?
Okay. A 1 and a 2.
1 and a 2.
Oh no.
So, as you
I'll just die. It's fine.
as you go and draw an arrow through your quiver, the wound you've taken is your head goes a bit light from blood loss. You almost go to slip. Roll me a dexterity saving throw. So a D20, please.
Yeah, plus my modifier.
Plus dex, and I think you're proficient in it too.
So dexterity saving throw plus 6.
Ooh, so that's 14 total, right?
Yep.
14 total. So you slip on this branch, but as you're falling, you kind of manage to clutch onto this tree, but you drop your long, and you see it kind of fall to the ground at the base of this tree.
Shit.
Well,
Get your sword!
fuck!
The amounts of nat 1s and 20s this combat, by the way.
Wild.
Ridiculous.
This campaign, let's face it.
Well, I've had
This
2 in a
is
fucking row now.
amazing. It's like we're either killing it or just getting slaughtered.
Okay,
Killing
so
it or shilling it?
I suppose then we're back to Triss.
Get him, Triss.
Right, run me through the bees again. What are the bees doing?
So when
The bees are deterring things from attacking you,
Right.
but they'll stop like deterring attacks if you make a harmful attack to anyone.
So at this point, I think because it would be a reaction attack, and he can't obviously choose a different target with that. If he fails his wisdom saving throw, the attack would just fail. So you might be able to potentially get away from him, and there'd be a chance that he wouldn't make the attack. So he'd have to roll the wisdom and then roll the attack. So
Yeah, I think the best thing to do here is for me
and
to
with Rich's Bane still going, he'd get a minus D4 on both of those rolls.
Right, so moving now is a good
Moving is probably
call then.
you're probably going to have
Get
the
out
best
of there.
chance of moving now.
Yeah, the question is where do I move, because it's like it's all bad around here. It's not
Come
great.
to me and ruler.
You think like maybe by this little rock over here?
I
How
reckon
far
that
can I
might be an
move?
idea. You can move 6 squares, so that's
Yeah.
about
Oh yeah,
4
you
out
can
of
make
6.
that easy.
Yeah, we'll go to here. Is that an action in itself, or can
No, that's
No,
just
that's
just moving.
move.
So he is
Right.
going to roll a wisdom saving throw to see if the bees do their job.
Get him, bees! Get him, bees!
15. So this is going to be borderline. Rich.
Oh, Rich with Bane.
Shit.
And
The
mine.
bees do their job.
Yeah!
Triss, you managed to escape while this creature kind of like snaps at the swarm of insects flying around its head, and you get out of there.
Happy days.
Good bees, good bees.
Cool.
Boss
Um,
bees.
What's the state of play then with all of these beasts? So we know the one that I was stood near is had a bit of a bad time. This guy's taken some damage, but who's the healthiest? Who's the closest to death? Who's looking the most ropey, I suppose.
You find it very hard to tell with.
Right. Okay. I've changed my mind a couple of times. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might Eldritch Blast again.
Sure. Which creature would you like to Eldritch Blast?
I think this guy next to Titus and is it Roland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'll Eldritch Blast him.
Okay, cool. So if you'll roll me the d20.
I think honestly, like if you're ever in doubt, Eldritch Blast is always a good spell.
It's a warlock's best friend.
It did
Yeah.
so much damage.
Okay, so it hits. The bees then dispelled because you've rolled that. So roll me a d10.
D10. Thank you. Cool. And then do I add anything to that?
+4 for your charisma, so that's 12 damage to it. Again, this creature takes full force. You can see it kind of visibly recoil from this mighty burst of spectral energy.
Ooh. At this point, I'd love to do just a hint of roleplay. So the little cage that was magnetically attached to your focus or weapon, the bees just vanish before your eyes, and I'm just like, "Don't cast magic! It interferes with the illusion."
Cool. So they're not real bees.
No.
Oh, don't tell Titus, he likes bees.
They give him fucking crunchy nut with the extra flavouring.
Titus would make the best cereal commercial.
Hey, what did I say? Why Titus would be like the perfect fucking honey puff monster, wouldn't he?
He's just running out to like a bowl of cereal. Yeah, I'd buy it.
Okay, so the Eldritch Blast has clearly hurt this hound. Titus.
Seeing Triss's magic just do huge damage, and as he looks over his shoulder, he sees the bees were there the second he was looking. So encouraged by the bees, encouraged by Triss, he's going to just absolutely unload, because now he's no longer scared, because Rulin was in trouble. Reckless attack, which means advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 14.
Hits.
Okay. And then add 6 to this roll. So that's 13 damage.
Okay, Titus, you bring your axe down on this beast, and as it connects, the creature kind of growls and he kind of stands there and kind of stares at you, but you can see he's starting to fade almost before your eyes. The creature kind of like tries to claw at the dirt to try and get some purchase, but he kind of, his paws pass through it and he kind of disappears before your eyes, doesn't even leave a corpse.
Oh, what? Titus is still raged, so he doesn't have time to think about this. He's going to move 1. Bonus action is going to be to high five Triss.
Okay.
She high back enthusiastically.
Are you going to roll for the high five
nice,
again?
Jazz.
Okay, roll to hit. Do I still get? I still get advantage.
Shit.
Reckless
Still
attack,
reckless.
yeah. So another balls to the wall high five from Titus.
Oh fuck!
That's still
Oof.
that is still 12.
Okay. In which case, Triss, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ! I'm sorry,
This is
Triss.
not gonna go up.
It's just a flat fucking roll. At least it's not a minus.
Oh my God.
I love how you were like enthusiastic at first, but there's just going to be like instant regret.
I just think that perfectly reflects Titus doing this.
Oh God.
Oh God. Oh.
So, Triss, the kind of enthusiastic laugh clearly hasn't toned his strength down. And Triss is she's a fairly slight build, so the force of impact kind of leaves your hands stinging to a point where it's almost distracting. You kind of take a while to kind of shake it off.
Pascal, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. and I'm going to take up position next to Yendorn's spiritual weapon there, because Titus would have seen that before, right?
Yeah.
He knows it's a friend. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess he
them on
won't.
that space then.
Yeah, in that spot.
Uh-huh. Okay, so Rock. Now he knows he's not going to be able to climb that tree in plate armor and at his age, so he's actually going to try and get behind this other creature. And he's going to swing with his long sword, now using his flank, employing the tactics that he's developed over the years.
Oh, he's a good boss.
But he doesn't connect. Clearly exhausted from his fight already. His age is starting to show him. This swing is somewhat lackluster, and the creature manages to dodge. Yendon.
First of all, the spiritual weapon, as a bonus action, will attack the same creature.
Roll me to hit.
That is a 15.
15. That hits.
So it does 8 damage.
8 damage. So the mace again hits its mark, and the creature kind of winces as it kind of crunches into its right shoulder blade.
I move underneath Havel, and as an action, can I grab his sword and throw it up to him?
It's his longbow, but
his longbow. Sorry, yeah.
Sure. So you toss this longbow up into the tree. Havel, you're still kind of just getting your balance, so roll me a sleight of hand check, please.
Okay, let's have a look.
So a d20.
And which modifier would that be?
It'll be a +4.
That's just that one. Okay.
So you see Yendon kind of pick your longbow up and toss it to you, and as it comes up, you snatch it out of the air, ready to use again.
That's me done.
Okay.
Awesome. That spiritual weapon's fucking sick.
It's good, isn't it? And it's not even
Alrighty.
concentration, which is the
Yeah,
best
it's
thing.
not. It's okay, Rulin.
Okay, let's try this again. Rulin will move up around the fireplace on either side of the spirit mace, and we'll take a. Actually, he'll move further around the side. He's got the movement for it anyway, and make. I guess does that count as a flanking?
Yeah, you'd be on the other side to Titus, so
Okay.
you make
You'll
the
make
attack with advantage.
A short
Yeah.
attack. Let's have a go at this. 2 1s. Come on.
So that's gonna hit.
19. Yeah.
Get him, dude.
And then we'll do my D6. I'll be 8 points of damage.
Okay, so that hits the creature kind of in the rear. Despite the fact that this clearly isn't the full damage you would want, the creature is still starting to show signs that it's kind of starting to lose a bit of vitality here.
Okay. I will spend another key point to do Flurry of Blows again. So that's 2 unarmed attacks.
Okay, hit that, please.
Still an advantage.
Do those with
Still advantage, so just roll 2 at a time,
Alright, okay.
just so we can pair the dice properly.
Yeah.
Connects. Second one.
Ooh. That's +5.
So 1 hit.
1 hit. And then it's 1d4 plus 3. 7.
So full damage. Okay, so the blow you hit it, and as your kind of fist connects, you can. It's not the same experience as punching the flesh of a creature. That it just doesn't feel the same. You can't really put your finger on what is different about it.
Okay.
But you know that something just feels inherently wrong.
Okay. And I'll use one of the. Well, I'll attempt one of the special effects of Flurry of Blows as well. So, what does it do? Let me just check. So I can. I'll force it to make a strength saving throw or get pushed away.
Okay.
Yeah, knock it through the tent, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be 23.
Yeah,
So,
that's a successful.
It saves it. It's again, as you go to push it, your hand kind of doesn't really connect with anything to push.
Okay.
These things are crazy, dude.
Well, I was hoping to go for the opportunity there where everyone would get a swing at it as it got pushed away, but
Yeah, exactly. Reaction shot.
The spiritual weapon doesn't though, because it's a construct, right?
Right, okay.
Oh, but between me and Rock.
Oh yeah, Rock. I forgot he was there.
Yeah. Okay, so the hounds are going to go. The creature here, he's just going to keep going at Titus, who's in front. You used reckless attack, didn't you? So
I did. Yep.
it is going to be advantage. Oh no! It's a crit.
It's fine.
But does that nullify the crit because of Bane?
I'm afraid it doesn't. Oh no. Titus. This is bad.
How much damage?
10 with your resistance. You can't
I'm still conscious.
You're still conscious. The teeth have kind of just torn into your torso. You're openly bleeding from a myriad of wounds. You can kind of feel your lifeblood leaving you. It's
my ancestors looking on.
They're
I'm
not.
I'm gonna die with honor.
They're not going to interfere in your duel here. This is something you alone must face.
If it's my fate, I'll die with honor.
The other beast, still in its tree with Havel, is going to continue its assault and try and get you out of that tree.
Titus has taken 30 damage, by the way.
He misses. You're okay. He goes to bite you, but his teeth kind of close around the branch you're standing on.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. Torek.
It's time. I'm gonna charge this one here. That's
No, you're not.
Oh no, I can't.
Because you're still feared.
I didn't roll resistance on the last turn.
No, you didn't. We need to get good at that.
Advantage because it's a magic
It's hard to
effect.
keep track. It's hard to keep track.
That is
No, that's still not going to do it, I'm afraid.
Oh, no! I can't help.
Wisdom saving throws are going to fuck you up this game.
Yeah, Torek's a coward.
It's such a sad
Arguably-
thing that he's such a coward.
Arguably, that's actually more wise, isn't it? Like being scared of his horse-sized hellhound thing. I mean, I'd call that,
Dude, what?
I'd call
What
that
are
fair.
they?
Oh, that's for you to find out.
Oh my god.
Okay, so, Guy, how does that
Am I
change plans?
afraid of both of these?
You can move towards this one. This is the source sphere. You can move towards the others, but you'll roll disadvantage against any checks.
I think it's only while it's in line of sight though, so if you go behind the tent,
Yeah.
be okay?
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a ranged attack instead against the one that's going after. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Roll your dice.
Disadvantage?
Disadvantage.
Oh, that's a 2.
It's finally met.
For the first time you throw this boomer blade, your shaking hands kind of upset your aim a little bit, and it kind of boiled in this tent for a little bit. It cuts through, but it alters the flight path in such a way that it misses the beast.
Stupid thing! Stupid thing!
No,
Ooh.
Tori.
Okay.
No. Everyone's dying!
Okay. Any bonus actions?
In order to have bonus actions, I need to.
Spell slots, don't you?
Yeah, I have used all my spell slots.
For bees.
I have used I've used my daily allowance of bees.
Okay. In which case, then, I guess that moves us on to Havel, who is now back in possession of his longbow.
And still stuck in it.
Still stuck in a tree, with a vicious flurry of claws and teeth below him.
But you have your bow now.
I do. I'm wondering, is it possible to kind of leap out of the tree, but around the opposite side of the trunk? You know, to try and get the trunk between me and the. Yeah.
You would still take the opportunity attack for that because you'd be leaving his zone of control. So it'd just be like a vertical 5 feet rather than horizontal in this case.
Okay, fair enough.
Kind of, it'd just be like as you're falling.
You'd take the swipe, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I stay in a tree, I don't know how much help I'll be.
You stay in that tree for a little bit longer. I've got a plan to try and shake your dog tree.
Yeah, shake him out of the tree.
Yeah, kinda. If you can just
So,
hang tight for another move.
I can sheath the bow and unsheath my swords and do an attack in the same round, can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because it's a bit risky with the disadvantage on the bow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll sheath the bow, take out my short sword.
Okay, so that's your bonus action. So you'll only get the one, even if you're dual wielding, just because of the fact that you've swapped weapons.
Yeah,
So, but it will just be a regular damage roll. It won't be disadvantage. So a d20 if you would.
that's 1d20, and with a short sword it's +6.
So that hits.
16, and then it's 1d6 +4.
Ooh.
10.
10. So the short sword kind of connects and it kind of drops out of a tree from this, but it lands on its feet.
Yes.
Come on.
But you bought yourself a bit of breathing room.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. If I've got a bit of breathing room, I'll stay up here. Bleeding away.
Okay, nice. And then Triss or Titus.
Where are you at, Titus? Do you want to go first, or?
This time, Trish, I feel like Titus should go first.
Yeah, go for it.
He's filled with rage, facing this huge hound.
He's ready.
He's near to death.
Oh,
His
Go, what are you rolling for?
ancestors,
I forgot to
ancestors
do the
are
wisdom thing again. So.
Yeah, you fell. You fell.
And you fail.
his ancestors are looking on. He's got 4 health left.
Holy
He's-
shit!
He's gonna
Go kill a beast,
He's
Titus.
gonna
Go do it.
just here goes.
Please don't
That's
get
a
Good job.
16
Hits. Good job, it was advantage, Joe.
plus 6 to this. That's 16 damage.
16. Okay, Titus. As this creature's kind of rips the chunk out of your flesh, you kind of just swing with your battle axe, and you kind of hit it just where its kind of leg has its joint, and you hear something crunch. The creature kind of calls from you, kind of yelps in pain. It growls at you. It's clearly kind of bothered by this, but it's still alive.
Okay. Bonus action. He's gonna yell to Rulon. Remember my name.
Okay. Rulin is definitely visibly quite concerned about Titus now. I'll try and do something about it.
Okay, Triss.
Right, so where are we at? So we've got Titus who's in a bad way over here with Roland. How's Harok doing?
Harok, he's been okay. His armor, other than that first attack that was mostly, he's looking okay. The bleeding's kind of stopped now, and his armor's kind of kept the worst from it. Although it's clearly dented and scratched in places.
Yeah, could be better, could be worse.
But he's still going.
I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on the dog that's just fallen out of the tree.
Okay.
How are we doing this? That is the question.
Okay, so Dissonant Whispers it is then. Great spell. I think that's a wisdom saving throw he has to make.
Yeah, it is.
So he's going to roll that.
Minus D4.
Minus D4.
Okay.
Either way, it's a fail.
Cool.
Okay, so Dissonant Whispers.
Psychic damage because I've got a second level spell slot.
Yeah.
So am I literally just rolling that 4d6 then?
4d6.
4d6!
4d6 psychic damage.
11.
Oh.
Okay, so
Is there anything added to that, or is that just literally as it is?
That's it. So which one was that on again? The one by the tree?
The one by the tree, yeah.
Okay, so this creature, you hear it. Well, you see quite visibly. It just stop dead in its tracks and start to look around. It doesn't look like it knows what's happening, and you can see it start to fade. It kind of lets out a kind of a pained yelp and then kind of just vanishes from this plane of existence.
Interest! Yes! Good job, Pascal. Fuck yes.
Awesome. Kill.
Okay, nice one. So, Croc now takes a swing at this last remaining beast with advantage because it's flanking. And it hits, so that's going to be D10 plus 4. So 6. Croc, he brings this sword down in a two-handed sweep, the brilliant blue edge glinting with the light of the campfire. And this slices through this beast, clean cut through the middle, and you see it just like vanish in a flash.
Get in, boys!
Nice.
So as the final beast ends, you see Rock here. Right, we need to pack up the camp. We've bought ourselves some time, but they won't be gone for long. They always come back. Leave the tents. Let's go. He looks around and he realizes that in the middle of this fight, your horses have all bolted. Shit, that's not good. Right, run. Just follow me. And he kind of runs off and begs for you all to follow him. He's clearly quite panicked by this. I'll explain later. We don't have time. Just put some ground between us and them.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay, so I will retract this map. So
Holy shit!
you guys, oh for fuck's sake!
Sorry.
The beasts now have obviously disappeared, but Rock is still visibly worried. You don't know why. He hasn't stopped to explain. He's just focusing on moving. And he kind of forces you to keep up with him. Despite his age, he's really putting the pace on now.
Titus starts to black out.
Somebody do something to help the Goliath. We haven't been. Stay still.
Yandorn channels divinity.
Okay.
So I can choose as many creatures as I want and heal up to a total of 5 times my cleric level, and I can't heal anyone above half their hit points. So I just give all 15.
Okay, so Titus, you're now on 17 hit points.
That's huge.
Your bleeding starts to kind of be stemmed. You feel the blackness recede. You're able to kind of keep up with the group now, but Rock barely stopped while this was going on. And it goes like this for 2 days as you, on foot, make the rest of the way to Caer Emlyn. Rock allows you 2 hours a night to sleep, nothing more than he gets you back on the path. You've done forced marches before in your training, but this feels a bit more desperate.
Jesus.
Oh, I haven't the time to explain it all, and to be honest with you, I don't. All I know is that I've killed things like that before, and they're always back. I don't know where they come from. I don't know. We need to get ourselves inside some walls, behind some protective magic soon. That's as far as he'll go to say anything about you. You know that he truly believes that this is an imminent danger. So 2 days go by with almost no sleep, no stopping for meals. So you guys are going to be exhausted. Everybody's going to take a point of exhaustion when you reach the gates of Caer Emlyn. The thick stone walls rise from the ground to meet you. You can see that Rock is visibly by this. Oh, good, we made it. Thank the stars. Right, everybody, get inside. I'll bring you up to speed a bit later once I've consulted with Kenyal. He probably knows more about this than I do. You would know that Kenyal is a kind of wizard that the Order kind of employ for magical things. Usually receiving messages about contracts, but anything arcane or particularly unusual, he's the one the Order tends to go to looking for help.
And how do you spell his name quickly?
Okay, so it is an Aequinel, which is a really poor choice of name because it's bastard to pronounce.
It's cool, though. No, it's
You
cool.
can just click on the randomize name generator button a few more times.
Yeah, I should have really. But yes, he's a high elf wizard who you guys would have seen around the camp while you were training. So you arrive and the gates are opened and welcomed home into the stronghold of Caer Emlyn, the home of your Order, where we will leave it for tonight, I think. But well played, guys. That was a tough encounter. You did well.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well done.
Great. That's good fun.
Nice.
Amazing.
Fab, thanks.
Good session.
That was
Yeah,
incredible
good stuff.
Chrissy.
Lovely stuff.
Cool. Well, same time next week to find out a little more.
Ooh.
Chrissy, do we